the weight on my shoulders. I feel the sky come down on me, and I can't hold it much longer. Gotta let go so I can be free. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
We're back, and we're all in the same place. Braun, Todd Father, and Kratz.
I don't want him here ever again.
Why did you invite
he
him?
just pinched my arm, and it's like burns. That's how hard. I'll get him back.
You know what? Kratz is stronger than he realizes. So you know how there's always that friend that'll like punch you in the arm, and he's like, "Oh, that was just a love tap," and you're like, "Yo,
I have
you're
to
strong."
sit next to him because he doesn't know his own strength.
That's
Because you're the
strategic.
man of the hour, the centerpiece.
By the way, yeah, sure, we're loopy. We did a breaking news show last night on the Dylan Cease deal. Thanks to Ken Rosenthal and JJ Cooper for hopping on. Plus, I kid you not, AJ Przinsky did the show from San Diego.
He knew it was going to
Tell
happen.
me another show that does breaking news on Dylan Cease to the Padres, and Przinsky's there telling us if he's going to be on the plane or not.
It's unbelievable.
Boots.
and it was right over his shoulder, right there. Back up hard.
Exactly. Come
Boots
on.
on the ground. It's like the dude
Wow.
it's like the dude that they placed where the hurricane's going to be, and he's
Yeah.
like, "I'm here
Yeah.
on the other side of the eye,"
he's holding
and he's
on to
holding
something.
on to it. He's like, "It's not going to get that much worse." But
Boom,
that's where he
there
was
goes
in
the
San
umbrella,
Diego.
There goes the hat. Everything.
And little do you know, we have somebody seated right now where Blake Snell is going to sign. He's just going to be there for months.
Yeah. Hey, listen. If that's the case, we're in New York right now.
It could be Todd in New York.
No.
It could be Kipnis in Chicago.
Oof. It could be
Trevor May
Adam
in
Jones
Seattle.
wherever he's at. And
You don't
is
like
he-
that one, but I like that one.
Mm-mm.
Where's Adam Jones at? He's in a different country.
Could
Nobody's-
be Adam Jones in
Yeah,
Barcelona.
exactly.
Nobody's signing in Barcelona.
Barcelona.
If they sign in Barcelona, we have a problem because
Yeah.
he's not getting
Well, he better be
more than
getting paid.
$100 to pitch on a backfield.
Yeah.
So let's get into the trade, shall we? Again, if you want to see a full 30-minute breakdown on the Dylan Cease deal after our show, make sure you check out that breaking news show and the return package for the White Sox. But let's re-rack and let's get Todd Father in here right from the jump. So first reaction when you see Dylan Cease traded to the Padres was what?
White Sox are in contention to make the playoffs.
Let's go. Stevie Wilson?
Stevie Wilson's going to be the next thing since sliced bread, bro. Listen. Whenever I always see things like this, I'm like, they're like, oh, look at all these prospects. But you know the old saying, they're suspects until they become one of the big dogs on the screen. So for me, for the White Sox, I think it's a great pickup just because the direction they're going. They got some young guys coming in that have an opportunity to shape themselves and be dominant, okay? They weren't the top prospects that they got, but listen, I don't go about numbers. I'm an eye test guy. Kratz, you're going to talk a little about a couple of guys, but for me, I'm an eye test guy. Oh, just because you weren't number one prospect, that doesn't mean diddly, dude. These guys play the game. Will all four of these guys be top dogs? Probably not. But listen, they got some dudes right here that, you know, next couple of years, all of a sudden, we're going to be talking about some of these names. So good for the White Sox. Ooh, Sox.
Yeah, you got a little.
Oh, yes.
It's like he played there.
Yeah.
He was part of this whole thing. You know, I remember when the Sox signed me, and then they traded me to the Yankees. It was one of the best things
Hey,
that ever happened
That's
in my
a
life.
Boston.
I went Boston. on
Yeah, I don't
everybody.
even understand.
Anyway, I don't know. Przinsky
Give me
said
the
it best.
Padres,
What are
though.
the Padres doing?
Give me the
I don't know.
Padres. Like I want your take on if this is a playoff team.
Yeah.
Because
No.
when I say playoff team, can
Yeah.
they sneak into a third wild card? And then if they do, are you intimidated by Joe Musgrove, Yu Darvish, and Dylan
That's
Cease
what I was going to go
in a
with.
short series? Like and the lineup that they have.
I mean, yes, I would be very intimidated. I think it's a pickup that we didn't expect. I mean, it kind of took me out of left field a little bit, but they got some guys that can pitch, man. They got some guys that can play the game. So it's just a matter of whether they're going to put up the runs, and I think they will. Now it's Padres, Dodgers. We got a little
Really?
that clash is back, I think, a little bit.
You
I'm
think the
not, I'm not saying
Padres-
overpowering,
Okay.
but I'm saying the clash is back.
Rank the NL West right now.
Dodgers.
Okay.
I'm going Padres next.
Really?
Yeah, I am.
Above the Diamondbacks, who made
I
the World
am.
Series last year.
What have you done for me lately? Okay.
They made
That's
the World
pretty lately.
Series.
No,
They actually
I'm
played in the
talking-
last
I'm talking
game.
about right now, sir.
Today.
Lately.
But that puts
Okay,
you in
they
such a
lost
different
yesterday.
realm.
No, I'm just kidding.
But wait, let me ask you.
I'm big on pitching, bro. I'm
Okay.
big on it. Okay.
Zach Gallen,
How you doing?
Keep going.
Jersey boy. I'm going to take him all day.
Brandon Pfaadt,
He
Keep
did
going.
well in the playoffs. Okay, I want to see more of him.
Merrill, Kelly,
Eduardo.
and they're signing Eduardo Rodriguez. They have 4 guys. Does
Okay.
that how's that match up against
I like San Diego's better.
Matt Waldrom's? Is it Brandon Waldrom or Matt Waldrom?
Matt.
Matt Waldrom's knuckleball. Like
Knuck-
Eduardo Rodriguez versus or Brandon Pfaadt versus Matt Waldron. Like that's how you're
Okay.
filling out your rotation.
Okay, one thing.
And you forgot about the Giants.
I'm over the Giants. I'll be honest with you.
Okay,
I'll be over it.
that's fair.
So you've got
I've got Dodgers,
Yeah.
Padres, Diamondbacks.
Diamondbacks, Giants, obviously,
Yeah.
and the Rocks.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, we forgot about the Rocks.
I did forget about the Rockies. Forgot about the Rockies.
I'm very excited about this pickup for them. Just confused, but now it's like we thought they were getting rid of everybody, and now they're bringing some guys in. I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it at all.
They were around a 500 ball club last year, but the
With-
Diamondbacks didn't blow the world away during the regular season either.
No.
I don't know what the exact separation is. I can find it in 5 seconds, but
They played the way that the Padres, 4 guys in their lineup are going to need to play. The Padres have their superstars. And that infield, if they just let the infield hit, because I really believe Cronenworth's going to come back, it's going to be, what are you getting out of the outfield? Now, you got rid of Soto. There's no replacing what Juan Soto brings to a lineup statistically. Whether you think Manny and him were clashing in the clubhouse or not, maybe it's an addition by subtraction. You just can't replace a 400 OPS. I mean, a 400 on base percentage in that lineup. And that outfield then lost Trent Grisham, which is Gold Glove center field. I get it. He was below my batting average for the season, but Gold Glove defense is hard to replace. Is Scotty's second favorite prospect in the game going to step up for this team? Or is he
Jackson
not?
Merrill. Is he
Jackson.
my second favorite prospect?
Yeah.
Who's my favorite?
It's not even close.
He's not a prospect anymore. Ellie De La Cruz?
Ellie De Cruz is still a prospect. There's a chance. They picked up Candelario to put him in the minor leagues. Nick Krall did not.
They picked up Candelario
Whoa.
because Noel V. Marte's on that good.
Did you see what he said?
because he's
Did you hear what he said?
because they knew
That makes no sense.
That makes no sense.
Nick Krall did not deny it.
I'm gonna
when
let
asked,
me call
Ellie's
Nick
not
up
going
real quick.
down ever again.
ever.
Oh, yeah, why would you say that?
See, that's why he's number 1 in your heart. He's still a prospect.
Jackson Merrill, though,
Whether
is
he's a
crushing the ball.
prospect or not, he's
Jackson
not
Merrill
going
looks
down.
good too.
He's not
So,
going down.
so all that to say, to me, I think the Diamondbacks role players did well. For the Padres to be a playoff contending team, they're not going to beat the Dodgers in the division. Case closed. It's going to be between them and the Giants. And the Padres need to get a lead in the division ahead of them because the Giants are going to get a lot stronger in their rotation at halfway mark of the season.
Either way we put it, it's going to be a blast, this NL West. now.
Mhm. It is. It's a fun division. And I will say this on the Giants because I like some of their moves in the offseason. They're a pitcher short in the first half for me.
That's
And
a
you
lot
know
of
how that
games.
works. That can affect your bullpen, which can even affect your bullpen in the second half. You know how that works? You know why? Because the Giants were dealing with that last year.
Yeah.
They had
They
two
did it the
pitchers
whole
down the
season.
stretch. I don't like that. I like some of these moves, but it's a really difficult division for the Giants.
What's your rank right now?
Oof. Rockies
Dodgers,
won.
obviously.
No.
You're going from
Oh,
last
we
to
made
first.
No.
$500 too. Yesterday, we talked about the team that would win the least amount of games,
Yeah.
and we took the White Sox at plus 500
Oh, Jesus.
because we didn't like the plus 140
Oh, good.
for Oakland. And then the White Sox traded Dylan Cease. I want to see what that number's at
It's like
today.
some-
I
Somebody
can
knew
check for you.
something.
I guarantee you it's probably like plus 400 now. All right, so as we're looking at the career stats for Dylan Cease, I'll remind everyone that he finished in second place in the American League for the Cy Young Award in 2022. a 2.20 ERA. He is 2 years removed from being a top 5 pitcher in the game in 2022. Swing and miss stuff. Terrible defense behind him last year. That'll immediately be dramatically improved with the San Diego Padres. All right, so I'm avoiding the big question, but I'll do it now. Dodgers 1, Diamondbacks 2. All offseason, I've said I'm back and forth with the Pods and the Giants. I put the Giants a little bit above the Pods, especially when that Matt Chapman deal went down. I will put the Pods above the Giants right now, unless they sign a big boy like a Snell or a Montgomery.
Oh, like Blake.
Right now for regular season dubs.
Where?
So I'm going to go Pods 3, Giants 4, and sorry, Colorado.
Yeah.
You have a fun ballpark experience.
That's inevitable as the Dodgers.
Yeah. But what do you go?
He's going Giants 1. You know that.
Yeah.
You don't have to ask me these tough questions, okay? I didn't think you would ask me. It's only me asking questions. No. I really think the Giants are going to do something this year. I think they have doubled, besides the Jorge Soler signing,
I'm going to write
they
this
have
down.
doubled down
March 14th.
on the fact that this is a tough place to hit. Matt Chapman, we're getting a ton of value of him at third base, and I think he is going to run with the wind, or whatever the grandson of the wind, son of the wind in center field. They are going to pick it all over the field, and whoever they throw out there on the mound for the first half, it's going to be anchored by Logan Webb. And I don't think the Padres have somebody that anchors the team like Logan Webb. So even with Dylan Cease, I think it is then the Diamondbacks and then the Padres. I think the Padres are a little late.
Okay. Let's leave it at that. I'm not talking to him for a little bit, but that's okay.
Hey, you want to show that board of the Cease Snell comps going back?
That's a really good comp right
Yeah,
there.
but who's hot currently? What did Todd just say? What have you done for me lately?
Well, Blake Snell's not in spring training, so I'd rather have Dylan Cease to start the season because he looks insane in spring training. He looks like the 2022 Dylan Cease, which I think also led to the White Sox saying, do we really want to play out a season, for a few months right now and risk injury and risk underperformance and also risk him getting pissed off when half the balls are dropped? No, I know the White Sox defense should be better this year, but still, I think this was the time. They got a nice package. I'm disappointed in some of the other teams because I didn't get to chime in a little bit here on a Yankees club, on a Rangers club. Dylan Cease costs less than $10 million, and you have the potential for a 1. It costs a lot less than what Blake Snell should be costing at some point.
If their costs are the same, who do you take? Blake Snell or Dylan Cease?
Is this for 5 years? Is this for 1 year? What's the deal?
For 2 years of Dylan Cease's contract, do you take Blake Snell or Dylan Cease? One guy
Same money,
1.2 ERA in his last 20 starts and struck out the world. The other guy had a 4. He's had 1 season below a 3. And he didn't even win the Cy Young that year. Blake Snell has 2 Cy Youngs.
I know, but they were Dylan Cease was
close.
Cy Young level in 2022. I will take Blake, but it's very close. It's close enough
that
I'm
not paying the extra.
I would pay a little extra, but I'm not paying that much extra.
Who are you taking? He's not even one of the top 4 pitchers in that division, but Dylan Cease.
Who cares? Why does that matter? Is he a playoff pitcher?
Dylan Cease?
Yeah. Are you serious? You just hesitated? He's easily a playoff pitcher.
Oh, yeah. I was thinking is your first guy.
If
he's
you
your
have
top
a playoff
3.
series,
Yeah.
right? This is how I'm starting to separate things, Todd Father.
Yeah.
I go, did you just acquire a playoff pitcher or not?
Yeah.
You got a playoff pitcher.
Yes, he's pitching one of your first 3 games.
Yes, and you're fine. You're like, great, I feel good.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they want. So they're building for the playoffs.
Yep. All right, let's get to the Devin Williams injury because this one, news-wise, came in like an hour or 2 after the Dylan Cease trade. So I feel like it got overshadowed. But this is a massive injury loss, not only for the Brewers, but for a guy who's getting close to free agency. He's 2 seasons away. Yes, not after this year, but
yes,
the year after that. And he's been one of the best relievers in our sport for years now. Devin's expected to miss 3 months with 2 stress fractures in his back. that's a problem.
That's tough. That
Yeah,
is
and there's
tough
some
to
more
hear.
details from Passon. Visited a back specialist, diagnosed fractures on both sides of the vertebra. He will be shut down for 6 weeks, rehab for another 6, and then the doc expressed confidence that he would make a full recovery. Oof. I mean, let's start with the player. This is a top 5 reliever in our sport who's got the airbender. Top 3 reliever. Changeup is insane. It's off the charts. He's reliable, and this is not a normal injury.
No, I've had I'm not trying to compare, but my back, I had that L4, L5. It's now there's no everybody I think has it, and there's no spongy tissue in between, which hurts. I get it, but it's nothing like this. Like this is, it's broken, right? Fractured. I mean,
stress fracture.
Okay.
So the way it was explained,
all right, explain it to me.
Was technically it's a small fracture inside the bone. That's painful.
Very.
People have had shin splints, supposedly. That's what is similar in the bone. It's not an actual break, but if it gets worse, the bone could break.
Crack inside the bone that can break the entire bone.
Yes.
And he's had this issue going back to last year. September, he was pitching hurt and shows up to spring training, never got better. They're trying to fix it. And eventually they're like, we got to shut you down for a little bit.
This is one you take your time. You take as much time as you need, because you don't want him coming back too early. All of a sudden they're in a playoff push or whatever. Oh, we need you back. No.
Yeah, he's not jumping into the shallow end of the pool.
You are not. Yeah.
You got to be ready to swim because he's coming in and it's.
Yeah. And after 3 months, he's still got another month to go to work back, progress, everything else.
They're doing the total.
They're doing the total.
Oh, they did total. So they're saying
6.
rehab, including throwing and everything else.
Yeah.
I thought rehab meant just working the back, building the muscles behind it and everything else. So.
6 weeks of no throwing.
Gotcha.
No activity is how I understand it. So it's not like, oh, I broke a wrist or something. I can still lift my legs, stay in shape. No activity is how I understood it.
Okay.
And if a pitcher shuts down, think about the fact he shuts down in October, might not pitch again till the end of November, beginning of December. So he's basically restarting his entire season in the sense of his throwing program.
Oof. No lifting, nothing
That's
no running, nothing
tough.
that. Yeah.
That's tough.
That's a month and a half of chill.
Our producer had the same injury, Claudia. She said, I was told when I was a runner, if I kept running on it by a bone, literally it could split open as you're running. So it's pretty serious.
Jeez.
Yeah. That's not one you hear, right? It's not an injury you hear very frequently.
No, especially that low in your lower back. People have had everybody's had lower back pain. You kind of, you throw some icy hot on it.
Sure.
You get stretched,
That's
you
all
do
I
this
did.
and that. And you're like, okay, I can gut through it. Especially him. He's coming in, his music is playing, adrenaline pumping. He's ready to go. And everyone talks about his changeup. He'll still run it up there, 97, 98.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the changeup is obnoxious. It's off the charts. And so he's doing everything full tilt. I guess that's how you get, stress fracture like this. I obviously don't know.
Brewers now.
Tough. That shortens the options that Pat Murphy has.
Yeah. There are some other good ones. The Brewers have done a really nice job of putting bullpens together. There are some teams that thrive in that department. Seattle, Tampa Bay, Milwaukee. There are other teams that are often a mess in that department. The Brewers are on the positive side. Piamps was really good for most of last year. McGill last year was awesome. Those are probably the 2 top guys that would fill in to close. But then you lose one of those guys in your high leverage 7th, 8th inning spots. You just thin out your bullpen. That's all. And that sucks because they're going to have to win on the margins a little bit more this year than they have in the past. You're not going to have starting pitcher shove city like you've had in the past. It's Freddie P, and then we have question marks where some days you're going to be like, damn, we're down 5-1 heading into the 8th, even last year when, they were missing Woody for a good amount of time, still have Corbin and Freddie going the whole year. The big 3 is down to 1. So when you have a top 3 closer in the sport gone, it's very troublesome for this team. They're in a transition period right now. And for me, they're not making the playoffs.
Because of this injury? Or you already had that as the case?
I think when I was putting my predictions together, already leaving them out, this makes me feel even more comfortable about that. I think the Reds are a better team. I think the Cubs are probably a better team. It's close. I think the Cardinals are pretty close, although I'm kind of concerned about them. So there's going to be 1 or 2 teams in the NL Central where you're like, damn, they were not that good. And Milwaukee might be going through that transition period right now. We're looking at their bullpen.
As we've said every year for the last 7 years, I think.
I don't always say that.
Okay, not we. As the people who predict things said the last 7 years, they have gone over the prediction of wins per season. And that's because this coaching staff, Chris Hook, Pat Murphy, with the help of Craig, he was helping Craig Counsell this whole time. The entire front office, they move guys along and they call them up and they say, this is what you're good at. And when you come up to the big leagues, this is what we want you to do. If you don't do well, we're going to send you back down because this person is ready too. So it kind of lets everybody know where they sit. And then when they get there, they put them in a situation to succeed. And so I think they'll be able to handle filling the void of Piamps going to the closer role, Abner Uribe going to the closer role. But I don't know that they're going to fill the void with those guys going into the closer role because you're talking about filling the void of a top 3 reliever in the game and a bona fide Cy Young winning ace gone out of the rotation. So Colin Ray and Wade Miley are going to have success against most of the Cubs lineup, are going to have success against most of the Pirates lineup. But boy, the Reds are going to be tough. I think it's the Reds division this year, and that is so happy for the Todd Frazier.
I agree totally. And we'll be there to watch them every once in a while. So for me, Reds, it's their time. It's your time, boys. It's go time. And it's sad to say because I don't want anybody injured or anything else, but they do have the pieces, and you just gotta figure it out. Can't fold at the end there. Have to ride that wave and put the pedal to the metal.
Ride the wave.
Let's keep the depression going, shall we? So we haven't had Todd Father on the show since the Yankee injury bug started to bite in spring training. So
terrible. Since
we left yesterday's show, we got more of a timetable on Gerrit Cole. So we'll read through some tweets here. Brian Hoke saying X-ray CT scan on the elbow in addition to the MRI, flew to LA, in-person visit with Neil Elitrash. Sounds like they're really doing their due diligence. Still, at that point, no official timeline, but then later finding out from the Yanks that it's at least 1 to 2 months. It could be more, right? It sounds like they're still seeking full clarity, but we're at a minimum of 1 to 2 months. So now we went from Cole's got a little scare to Cole's not going to be ready for opening day to Cole's not going to pitch in April to maybe he won't pitch in May. Here's Aaron Boone's comments. Gerrit's as smart as they come, trying to process all of the info as it comes in and obviously having necessary conversations with our trainers, docs, his people, his fam. So I think he's still in the information gathering portion too of what's the final diagnosis here? What's the course of action? I will say this with the Yanks. They like to keep things pretty tight to the vest. Even Brian Hoke admitted that yesterday on the injuries. And it seems like sometimes they say, it's not that big a deal. And then you keep getting more info. And so I'm concerned that you're still going to get another layer of information where it's a few months or, I mean, obviously we're hoping that we don't hear, anything elbow surgery wise, but now the Yankees rotation looks like Stroman, Rodon, Clark Schmidt, Nestor Cortez, and either Cody Poteet or Luke Weaver in your 5 spot.
Well, there's also a couple other names, too, that we're not really talking about. I didn't see. I was doing the game with Will Warren. He's another up-and-coming
That's a good one.
Young prospect, as we talk about, your favorite word. He pitched well. His control was a little all over the place. He got out of jams. There's another guy, Will Warren. I mean, you can always go to Luke Weaver just because he's a veteran guy. I don't know if that's the guy you want. I mean, Lucas Hill is another guy that was dominant. He had 8 strikeouts in 3 innings against the Phillies' top guys the other day. I mean, you try and button up and get excited about some of these guys as well, but it's just you don't know what you're going to get. You got guys coming up. It's step-up time. So every one of these guys now, every start they have every 5 days, it's a tryout. It's a tryout to be on this Yankee squad and to go to the Bronx at the end of spring training. I mean, we had Cashman on the other day. He said, hey, we're also looking outside. But for me, I thought Cease was the one to get, and that one was troublesome again, finding a way to get him on there. But he's gone. So there are some free agents out there. I'm sure they're nitpicking back and forth with some of these guys. But if they're going to stay in-house, which I think they will, there's 3 or 4 guys that are trying out right now to be on this Yankee squad. And, from a Poteet to a Will Warren to a Beater to a Luke Weaver to a Lucas Hill, it's going to be a fun little 2 weeks left here for the Yankees to see who they really want to bring up.
Common theme is all of the names you mentioned are not Gerrit Cole.
No. 100%.
That's my problem. Because last year it was Gerrit Cole and everyone else, which was a 5-ish ERA. So if I'm a Yanks fan, I'm freaking out.
Yeah.
The AL East is the best division in baseball. You could make a case for them being 2, whatever. It's a super competitive division. Even the worst team in that division is probably around 500, and the rest of them are strong. When you don't have your one, and he's the Cy Young winner from last year, and you don't know when he's coming back, I am freaking out because I do not feel comfortable about most of the names there. And Rodon's the big X factor, but if it doesn't work out for him, then I'm in full-on panic mode with that rotation.
Well, sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. You got Nestor Cortez is coming back from injury. You just said Rodon. Stroh's going to be fine. Rodon looked great. He pitched 4 innings yesterday, about 70 pitches. Stayed around 94 to 96 through the whole way, so I was excited about that too as well. If he can become the Rodon, not even the Rodon of old, everybody's like, oh, if he can become the Rodon of old, if he can just be himself and do that, nitpick the corners, because I was talking about I want to see him establish the inner half, and he didn't really do it yesterday. But at the same time, he did blow his fastball by a bunch of guys. His slider cutter was working really well, so it's a sign. It's a good sign. I know he wasn't facing the top guys from the Red Sox, maybe a couple guys, but he did look pretty good. And it's spring training. I get it. But my main focus was get in and get out. Make sure you're healthy doing your thing. So
I think he has the ability to be that horse. Is it still in there?
Yeah.
94, 96. When he was the guy with the Giants and striking out the world and getting this $160 million contract, he was the guy with the Giants. He was 96 to 99. He was only pitching on the inner half. It was like speedball in, jam on your hands, strike out Johnson, slider, back foot. Like it was not nitpicking. He was going after guys. And I would love it. I would love it if his first game he's 96 to 99. And the whole spring training he's like, why do I need to throw 96 to 99 in spring training?
Yeah.
I would love it if guys would come out and do that because they know what they need to get ready. I don't know if he's that guy, but I also know the Yankees have not come out and said 1 to 2 months. Second opinions aren't like, oh yeah, it's cool. Like people are surmising. Brian Hoke said it. The Yankees have not given a timeline. So let's say it's 1 month. The first 3-4 times through the rotation, they only need a 5th starter 1 time. Okay, so you don't have to push any of these young guys. You can give them their due buildup. It's by the end of April. April 19th, it's a home series against the Rays and the A's. And teams are looking at this. That's 1 month away.
Yeah.
If you can then give one of those young guys, give the Luke Weaver, who's not a young guy, he's a vet, but he's not going to give you nobody's going to give you what Gerrit Cole gives you. But these young guys an opportunity to face the Athletics in that series. The A's, it's probably going to be Luis Hill. Heel, I think, is going to be the guy. And to me, if you put them in situations to be able to succeed and not face the horses, the other start is going to be against the Marlins. Now you've mitigated an entire month with just 4 of your rotation pieces. The issue is Stroman or Rodon have to step up in that month.
Let me finish with this, and I said it the other day too. people put a lot into opening day starters. Like, this guy's got to be opening days. It's not that big of a deal in my opinion. It's nice to have your best guy going, but if you have a Stroman or a Rodon going first, okay, so be it. Those guys been there before. They know what they're doing. I just want people to say it stinks what Cole's going through, but don't put too much into opening day starters. That's
I
all.
agree, but for me, 3-4 days ago when this popped up, they were like, it doesn't sound like opening day is going to happen now. I'm like, okay, fine.
Okay.
You know, that happens sometimes. Guy shows up a week or two later on a big league mound.
Sure.
Now we're talking
This is-
month, 2 months, and maybe much more.
We're still waiting. Tomorrow we might know more. A second opinion is
It's going to be.
I read
tomorrow's
something
Saturday.
that they feel like a doctor said a second opinion will mean that they saw no ligament damage, but there's something that they're looking at. Like whether it could be a flexor strain, which everybody hears that and goes precursor to Tommy John.
Mm-hmm.
They could be looking at what was the word they used? The tendon mass, the mass in the back where everything comes together.
It's a lot of speculation.
It's a lot of speculation.
And that's the worst part of it. Nobody knows. We could speculate all day.
But I asked
Yeah.
Brian Hoke yesterday, who's a bigger loss? If you say
Yeah.
Gerrit Cole or Aaron Judge is going to be missed for 2 months, who's a bigger loss for your Yankees, Todd?
I would say Gerrit Cole.
100%. Because
Gerrit
I
Cole.
think this lineup will all tick up this year. And maybe that's a positive player in me.
You can put Trent Grisham in there. I mean, he's not Aaron Judge, but he's a viable outfielder.
There's
Rizzo's
no
going to be better. LeMahieu, I think, is going to be better. Volpe's going to be better. So there's improvement there. It's funny. Last year, I mean, there were problems all over the place, but there were times where you watch the Yanks offense, you're like, what is this? It was not good. There were often times where you're like, I'm kind of scared of like 2-3 dudes, and then there's so many easy
swings
outs.
lost, yeah.
This year, you might have the reverse where you're like, man, this lineup can freaking handle things. But I'm scared that I'm giving up 5 runs in the first 6 innings.
Can I say this? That this injury may actually help the rotation?
No.
Because
Can't say
before everybody was leaning on Gerrit Cole and be like, it's okay, Garrett's got it. Now guys have to step up. This team wasn't going anywhere, just like last year, if Gerrit Cole is your only guy. And if you're constantly just leaning on Gerrit and be like, it's okay, like I tried my best today and went 5, maybe this is a kick in the butt. And people say big leaguers don't need a kick in the butt. Maybe this is how the Stroh show shines. He's like, yeah, I want to be the big dog.
and
I
that's
want to
how
be
he's
the
gonna be.
vibrato. And
Yeah.
he's
Chance.
walking around. So maybe this helps.
Yeah, he did it. Remember, 2-ish months, first half last
Oh.
season. He was a dude. He was a Cy Young contender in the NL. Let's get our first guest from
Oh, hello.
right now. Louie, how we doing, man? How's camp?
We're doing well. Camp's going well. Yeah.
Good to have you on. How is the Arsenal going? So I think you added a little sinker action this offseason to bring into camp, right? And maybe tweak the slider a little bit. You can tell better than I can, so go for it.
Yeah, exactly. I added a 2-seam, basically something running into righties. I think this last year they're too comfy like approaches against me, so I wanted another pitch going into them that can go for a strike to basically expand the zone. And and the slider I tweaked it a little bit so it's more depthy rather than horizontal sweepy-ish. So my misses will be more competitive, and I'm aiming that over the white basically. So.
And exactly solidify what your role is going to be for us before I ask my next question.
I am under the impression I'm being built up as a starter. So as of now, I believe it's safe to say that I will be a starter to start the season.
And did you kick whoever told you in the knee when they told you that? Because last year when you moved to the bullpen, you were absolute gas.
Well, thank you. I did not kick anybody in the knee. You know, you can't take one day in the big leagues for granted. So whether it's a starting role or a reliever role, it would be awesome just to play in the bigs. So I got to add that.
No, we can't. We're not playing the G-Shucks game here.
Humble.
You came out like you were like when you watched the Twins bullpen and we were watching them. I remember I was in Philly and saw you guys live, and that's when it solidified for me. You guys are an elite bullpen. you got added to that bullpen and you shined. So, like, is there kind of do you look at it like, dude, I'm going to take this starting rotation thing and I'm going to kill it? Or are you like, you know what? If this starting rotation thing doesn't work out, I'll just go back to the bullpen and throw absolute fire.
I would say I'm doing both. I think as a starter, I'm gonna give it my best shot to to stick as a starter and learn and try to and compete as a starter. But at the end of the day, if I move to the bullpen, so be it. And I have no problem like entering games. Don't have to coast. I can empty the tank for 3 outs because that is also fun. I will add as a starter or reliever role, both have pros and cons.
Yeah.
No doubt. I want to go back to you, talk about that two-seamer. Is there a guy in camp right now or a coach or whatever that you work on this with that you kind of lean towards somebody? Because throwing a two-seamer, I mean, you think I think of a guy like Holmes with the Yankees. Like sometimes it could be erratic at times. Sometimes you can have pinpoint control with it. Who's the guy you talk to that helps you kind of manipulate the batters and making sure you're throwing it right? Because it's a tough pitch to kind of master if you haven't done it for a while.
It is, and I threw it last year, like halfway through the season. I played around with it in AAA, and I've had outings where it was spot on. There's a lot of like early outs, but Pete Mackey is a guy that I lean on to help me, make tweaks to it and everything. It's more like it's more day to day where I have to change my focal point, and some days it's going to be like a little feel thing. So I'm still in the process of like mastering that pitch. So yeah.
Louie, I want you to now give me the Louie Varland scouting report from college because it's a little different. Like take me back, like early college days. Give me the velo, give me the whole breakdown because you can tell everyone pick the whole deal and look at where you are now. It's really cool.
Yeah. So in college, I had one pitch. It was a fastball, and I wouldn't say I was a pitcher. I would say I was a thrower. I would just grip and rip it, hope for the best, and it seemed to work out. And yeah, I had one pitch through high school, through college, and then I got to pro ball. And my first couple outings was very eye opening. Every hitter can hit the fastball up here, so I was like, all right, I got to start, adding pitches and everything.
What was your velo, by the way, in college?
Yeah, I think I sat like 91, 92. There was a couple outings. It was unofficially some 97s, but it was like a scout in the stands from like 40 feet away. So I don't really truly believe it. I think I did. I could run it up to like 4s and 5 occasionally, but yeah.
So who gets credit for that? Like who gets credit for finding you? Give me like the discovery story because then you get picked in the 15th round, and obviously it's cool too. We can get into the fact that you're a Minnesota guy through and through. I know you get talked about it all the time out there on the local TV, but give me the lowdown of how the rise occurred.
Yeah, I think it all started with Martijn Verhoeven. He is in the biomechanical department here with the Twins. And after the COVID season 2021, I had a little my mechanics. It was I had like elbow climb, which is basically a very inefficient way to throw, can cause injuries. So we cleaned that up right away, and everything from there just stemmed off. I was throwing efficient, more consistent. So like my velo rose, accuracy rose, and from there I was able to add pitches. I've had some great pitching coaches in the past with Dan Urbina, Pete Larson. And many more. Obviously I'm drawing a blank right now. I should mention all of them, but yeah. And then from there, I just added like a pitch a year basically. And here we are today.
Does this mean that kids can develop pitches later in their life and maybe stay healthy while they're still just in college? Or do you think everybody needs to chase velo as soon as they can? And, whatever happens to your arm happens to your arm.
I believe everybody can learn how to, add pitches in this, but I don't think everybody needs 4, 5, 6 pitches like to make it to pro ball. I made it here with one. Chasing velo is a tough subject. I'm against it because everything we do as pro baseball players, people want to do in high school and middle school even, and that's just a little it's premature. With these weighted balls and everything, you add all this ER, IR, and range of motion, but you got to be stable in that range of motion. So all these kids chasing velos, It's been like a trend of them getting hurt, which makes sense because their body needs to mature. You need to have like a strong foundation before you can start adding like range of motion. And then again, you gotta be stable in the range of motion to finally like safely gain velo. So
That's a good analysis of it.
That was really
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
That was really. That's why I'm not a pitcher, nor ever will be.
yeah, actually in the off season, I do a pitching cam, so I'm pretty trained in this whole spiel and everything. So
That's nice. Hey, if I flew you out here to Toms River, New Jersey, you think you'd do that for me?
sure.
Some of these young kids need to do that because I get on their ass a little too much, and I feel like I know what I'm talking about, but it does.
Minnesota guys
100%.
aren't coming to Jersey.
He's gonna come. He'll come.
No, they're not coming to Jersey.
Why not? But also on top of that, I want to promote like not specialization. Don't pick one sport too early. I played 3
agreed.
sports all the way through high school. You give muscle groups a break, your body a break, and you don't get burnt out. In my opinion, if you're an athlete, you need to play as many sports as possible for as long as possible.
Preach.
Oh,
You
good,
know it.
Hey, I want to ask you a question about the tough part being in the minor leagues. You've been up and down a lot, going from major leagues back to minor leagues. Tell us a little about the mindset you need to have. I don't think people understand that too often. Like, oh, man, you live a great life. You play in the big leagues. Next thing you know, a week later, you're down in the bushes again. So explain the mindset and how strong you really need to be to play this game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I might be a bad example for this because I'm from Minnesota, and our AAA in the minors is in St. Paul. It's 12 minutes from where I grew up, so it's really not that bad for me to get optioned down. But you have to understand that it is a business, and moves have to be made, and this and that. And basically, you just have to take it one day at a time, one start at a time. When you get the opportunity to be in the big leagues, just make the most of it. But ultimately, at the end of the day, you got to learn and grow, and eventually you have it all figured out, hopefully, years down the road. So, I mean, it basically is part of the process. If it happens, it happens. It is what it is. You have to make the most of it.
Who is more Minnesota, you or Caleb Thielbar?
I would probably say Caleb. He's more. I mean, he knows the history more than I do. He is as Minnesotan as it gets. Also, Matt Wallner is up there as well. I would have to add.
Oh, yeah.
Forgot about him being but who's going to say big first? Who of the 3 of you are going to say big?
That's probably me because that's
you?
probably me. Matt lives in Mississippi now. Caleb lives in South Dakota, and I'm still at home. So I actually get a lot of crap for that, mispronouncing all those words and everything around here. So
What word was
it's a
that?
thing.
Big. Like I got to go put my glove in my big.
I thought you were saying
Bag, bagel,
bag.
all those good ones.
Bagel. Yeah, the Minnesota accent it's classic. It's actually
It
really
is.
it's nice. It's nice. But do the Twins purposely draft guys from Minnesota, or is it something that I just don't know many people from Minnesota? I'm like, oh, Joe Mauer's a Twin. Oh yeah, Louie Varland. Oh yeah, Caleb Thielbar didn't get drafted by him, so they missed out on him. Or is it just by coincidence?
I think it might just be by coincidence. It just so happens like Paul Molitor and Joe Mauer both are, were drafted by the Twins and now are Hall of Famers. But also, I guess, but also, I don't know. I believe like the fan base loves like the hometown hero kind of story. And I think being from Minnesota, I think it's easy for the Twins to scout in that state as well. So I think that might be a factor.
I like that. All right, tell me about the lineup. How we feeling about the Twins coming in? I mean, there were some moves this offseason. I would say almost to clear space because there's a logjam there, right? So Jorge Polanco was a big part of this team for a while. He moves on to the Mariners. Edouard Julien's going to get a chance to shine. We had Brooks Lee on recently, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had Brooks Lee on recently. We have 3 dudes
And
today.
Ober.
I get confused. Who? Oh, well, and Ober. I know that.
Not
but
lineup.
He doesn't hit, even though he's a monster. So tell us about the lineup.
I think we have a really scary lineup. I was here in the dugout watching a game one day, and this pitcher was getting in a jam, like the 1 and 2 hitters, and I was like, I do not want to be him because who he has next is Correa, Buxton, Kepler, Carlos Santana. Like as of right now, everybody's healthy. We are pretty stacked as a lineup. I think we can make some. I think this year we can make some real noise. So
You made noise last year. I mean, you guys
We did.
cracked that annoying curse that was there for a while. How's Buxton doing and looking? Because obviously he wasn't helpful in center field last year. He was still going through it, and now he should be back out there at least at some point. And for the Twins, it's always been trying to figure out how to keep Byron on the field because the potential is off the charts.
Yeah, absolutely. I think anytime he's on the field, it's MVP caliber. As of right now, he's doing great. I've never seen him so happy, so I think that is a great sign. So,
all right, now I love doing comparisons, and you can't pick both or oh, it's so close. You got to choose.
Well, here we go.
All right.
Byron Buxton, completely healthy. Royce Lewis, completely healthy. Who has a better season? And they're going to watch this, okay? So there's that.
I mean, you're just setting me up.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm going with Buxton.
Ooh,
I like that. Either way, you would have said it. Yeah.
Let's call.
Yeah,
let's
I
call
think
Royce
him in
Yeah.
center field is just a complete game changer. Nothing but raindrops falls out there when he's out there. So I mean, it's a huge aspect of every game when he's out there.
I like that. Is that his? Is that his phrase? Nothing but raindrops?
I believe it was on a shirt like a couple years ago. I noticed, but I kind of kept it going. I kept saying it. So
Okay, I like it. I
like
definitely
it.
like that. Nothing but raindrops.
Here, I'll give it to you. So 2017 outfield motto of the Minnesota Twins was nothing but raindrops. 2017.
Hey, this guy's a Twins historian, okay?
Yeah.
Louie's a Twins historian. I remember
Don't say
back when
that.
Joe Mauer made his debut, he was one of my most favorite of the Twins that they ever had in the Twin City.
2017, that was great. You were 19, Louie.
yeah, I actually had a Joe Mauer poster on my wall growing up.
Nice.
Love that.
Have you asked him to sign it since it's still hanging on your wall and you and Joe can just drive to your house? You can pick him up in your Ford F-150 and you can go over to the house and see if Mom will make a little bit of spaghetti.
I actually ended up selling that poster. It sounds terrible, but I had a Joe Mauer rookie card growing up that I got. I had him sign that finally this last year, so
Nice.
Very nice.
it worked out. Yeah.
Yes, I love that.
My last one is about grabbing pitches from other pitchers, learning grips, right? Sometimes I come across a casual baseball fan that's like, well, why doesn't everyone have a splinker like Yon Duran? So do you guys try and copy grips of his, for example? And can you explain how some pitchers are not capable of just, gripping a baseball differently and being like, sure, I'm going to throw this now?
Yeah, absolutely. It happens every day. There is a bunch of pitchers comparing grips, feels, and this and that. I actually tried it. I tried to throw the Griffin Jack slider. I couldn't do it, not to the level he's doing it at. I think a lot of things come into factor with like mechanics, whether it's like release height, like tilt, and all of that. But I don't think anybody will be able to throw Johan Duran's splinker.
Who is the most, besides Johan Duran, who is the most jaw-dropping person on your team that you watch? I mean, on the pitching staff. We already said position players. On the pitching staff, where you watch them and you're like, what? I want to be able to do that.
Yeah, I would say Brock Stewart. I mean, every single pitch of his is very nasty, and I just don't know. I don't understand how he can do it day in, day out, and like that, and just be that nasty every single time out there. Yeah,
Love that.
Brock Stewart, Beef Stew is his nickname.
Beef stew.
I love that. Beef stew. You guys have a great bullpen. Excited to see the team out there this coming season here. Great to catch you on this show for the first time, Louie. Awesome conversation.
Yeah.
Appreciate you. You want to
Thanks
say
for having me.
Thank you, and we'll give you a Minnesota nice goodbye from Erik Kratz.
Oh, yeah, I really appreciate you coming on there. Thanks a lot there, guy. How about
I think
you?
that might be Canadian, but
No, it's like
thank
it's
you.
like up in Minnesota. No, like
Dakota.
International Falls. Up there,
Yeah,
really up in the north in International Falls, right on the border of Saskatchewan.
That's not bad, man.
You're
That's pretty-
Jamaican, honestly.
You tried,
Yeah,
Louie.
no.
Just be thankful you didn't have Kratz as your teammate. Appreciate you, man. Good to talk to you.
All right, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you,
Canadian
Louie
in North
Varland,
Dakota
joining
to
us. Hey,
freaking
Kratz
Jamaican.
tries. I got to give him
He
credit.
said, "You knew
Hey.
you were Jamaican."
No,
It went.
He played in the
we went
Midwest for a minute.
Curacao.
I played there for a little bit. I drove through International Falls. We have a connection. In the middle of winter, I drove
Love it.
through International
I
Falls.
don't even know what that means.
International Falls is one of the places that you go into Canada, but it's the border city, town, whatever, in Minnesota. And it's a Minnesota. It's
Is it
one
one
of
of
my
those
favorite
towns-
places to go.
So like there were kids that would go to school at Michigan and they would all take trips. I think it was Windsor, maybe it's close, because the 19-year-olds, they're like, oh, I want to go drinking. Is it one of those places where you can just flip across the border? And the
International
drinking
Falls?
age is different.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
And it's always cold. I was never there in the summer, but
they probably have some like ice lounges or something.
yeah,
like
they
that.
drive across lakes and stuff.
Wow.
Ice lounges.
Not mad at it.
A lounge of ice.
Not mad at the ice lounge.
Same. Spring training talk. While we have a moment here. Wait, actually, we are going to get another guest in just a sec.
Ooh-wee.
So we're gonna have Kratz just do another minute.
I'm not.
I'm kidding.
I'm not. I'm told I'm not supposed to do any more accents, so I'll just stay.
No, that's not
nice
true.
And monotone.
Monotone.
Yes.
We're a little goofy when we're all together. We're all moving to Todd Father's, so there's room downstairs.
There's not enough space.
You need a lot of space.
I do. I
snore.
snore.
And we're gonna talk to Royce Lewis in just a sec, who was, I think, the most requested Twins player when I asked the question yesterday.
From other
Sorry
teams
for
or by
delivering.
fans?
Both.
I think he's ready.
Both. He's ready. Let's
He's
do it.
listo.
Our friend Royce Lewis joining us right now on FT Live, back out at Fort Myers. Royce, great to see you, man. Oh, Royce is styling.
Yeah,
like we're
swaggy.
getting a little sparkle.
Just
I
On
know,
the
a
necklace.
little-
You know, I'm a
John.
necklace guy. I'm a necklace
What is
enthusiast,
going
as one
on?
article says.
Oh.
So, Royce, we're all together. How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you guys doing, man?
Awesome.
He's loving life.
Now?
Look at him, spring training.
I
chewing
know.
The gum.
He's like, I did so good in the playoffs. Now look at me in spring training, guys. I got my teal diamonds on because this is the color that I
No,
chose.
that's Tiffany blue.
Is that Tiffany
Oh.
blue? Is that what that is?
That might
What
be
color?
Tiffany.
Is
Hey,
that?
I couldn't even tell you, man. My mom, she makes these for me, and I just appreciate it. So
Come on.
I didn't get the real bling on today. I got a new 2-3 necklace coming in for you guys. So maybe next podcast or next time we're on, I'll wear that out.
Next show, we need that. But wait a minute. Your mom makes these? Because this thing is, when you watch this back, there is like the perfect sun bling on that, John. And it is, your mom is making these? Like, I think Todd might need one of those.
Can I
Yeah,
get one?
yeah,
Are they online?
Are they online? We got to get some of those. Blast
Yeah.
mom out here a little bit. Come on.
Yeah, of course. I appreciate you guys. Yeah, it's Humility Chains. So if you go on the Instagram, she's also on Etsy. That's where you can order it from. And she does a great job, man. She'll get it out to you guys quick. If you need some, we'll talk after the show and we'll get you guys taken care of.
Yeah, because it's shining. I mean, it is. I forget all my questions. It's either your smile or your necklace. And Todd doesn't know how to spell humility, so if you could spell that out
Hey,
for him.
listen, I'll be honest with you too, man. They're good prices too. I
Yeah.
love that. They're priced very
Yeah.
well.
Yeah,
you
like
get
30
some of them
bucks.
going, for sure.
I appreciate
Hey.
it. It also goes to kids' cancer too, so it means a lot.
Oh,
Thank
that's
you guys.
even better.
That
No
is
joke.
awesome.
I'm ordering after this because
You're a chainman.
I wear all kinds of chains, necklaces, bracelets, the whole deal. So
Yeah.
I love that.
Wow.
Royce, you're styling. All right, so let's go through spring training right now. Take me through
Let's do it.
how it's going right now and how you're feeling about this lineup. I mean, it was so good that they can just casually trade away Jorge Polanco and be like, damn, we can't even find PT for everyone.
Yeah, exactly. We have a special talented team, and I'm excited to be healthy myself, but also a part of a healthy team. It seems like everyone's doing a good job taking care of their bodies and showing off their talents during spring training so far.
All right, so we just had your boy Louie Varland on, and I made him make a tough decision. And I said, somebody's going to be watching this, and if not, I'm going to tell them.
Yeah.
So I got to be a man of my word. Louie Varland, I said, who, if 100% healthy, plays 162 games, has a more electric season? Byron Buxton or Royce Lewis? And
Yeah,
who do you
yeah,
think he said?
I hope he said Buxton. There's a reason why he's a top, player in this game, and when he's healthy, I think he's MVP every single year. So I hope he said Byron Buxton.
He did say Byron Buxton, but what does it take for you to be an MVP candidate? Because I look at your numbers and I say an MVP candidate year in and year out has to be a guy that bangs every pitch at a high level. And I don't see I don't see weaknesses in your swing. I don't see where you have troubles. But what does it take for you to get to that level that you see Byron Buxton on?
Well, thank you for saying that. That means a lot. I work hard, every day to try to be like Byron Buxton or Carlos Correa. And, for me personally, I think I'm treating it like this is my first full season ever, really, in the big leagues in general. So I'm kind of like a rookie. I'm fresh, and I'm excited to show everyone what I got and just go out there and play as many as I can and as many as Rocco and the staff needs.
Has he talked to you about that? Has he talked to you about how many you need? Like, is that a pre-season determination? Because they know they need you out there, and being out there means being healthy.
Yeah, I think the main thing we focused on was like, hey, finally you're going to focus on just one position this year, and that's third base. And so, on the other years past, I've been looking at shortstop, third, center, trying to mix in second base just to find a spot on the field. And I'm just very appreciative of the opportunity that we have at third base. I think I have a good shot there to, make a statement and have a lot of fun and be able to be healthy every day.
Same kind of deal for me. I came up and they said, we're going to find a spot for you eventually. But I bounced around, played a bunch of different positions. Now, you're at third base. What is the routine you got going on now? Because I remember I had Scott Rowland, which, Hall of Famer, helped me out tremendously. We were out there a number of times. Helped me out so much. He even switched my glove. He goes, your glove's too big. We got to come down like an extra inch. I was using an outfield glove, if you want the truth, because I felt like the bigger the glove I had, it was kind of like first base for me on the opposite side. But I had like a 12 and a quarter. I went down to a 12. It kind of felt more natural. Is there anything that you changed? And how excited are you knowing that you got one position that you can do without worrying about anything else? I feel like that kind of kickstarted me to take off a little bit more hitting wise.
No doubt. I'm really excited. Yeah, and I appreciate you saying some of those things. I mean, those tips, man, I'm going to need to see you in person and get with you a little bit more on some third base drills. So personally, for me, I've been working on driving backwards at an angle. I feel like that drop step is huge at third. It's a lot different than shortstop where kind of everywhere I'm coming in. It's like an umbrella where everything's just in a little circle, and there's a lot more angle at third base and a lot of coming in. And so that's been the biggest adjustment, but that's part of the routine every day is, we do shorthands, and then we do a lot of drop step drill with a half fungo, half kneeling drills. That's the main emphasis. But like you talked about with the glove, my man, you went down. I had to go up. I was at 11 and a half, 11 and a quarter. And so I actually went up to 12 as well. So I think 12 is a happy medium that you mentioned too. Yes. So I'm pretty excited about that. No
doubt. So what we'll do is I'm still looking up in exchange for some of these humility necklaces. I'm going to need a couple different versions.
These are nice. I like these, man. I see it on the TV right over there, man. Yeah, you guys helping me out. Appreciate it.
Yeah, so I'll take those and I'll give you some tips. How about that?
Good trade.
He's not looking to get Tom's River lessons. Just boys hanging out.
No. He's going to get the works. I'm going to work his ass, and he's going to be even better than what he is.
We saw him in person last year. Remember?
He's a beast. Yeah. He makes me look small.
You are small.
Hey, Royce, I'm going to try and approach this question a little bit differently because I've heard some reporters ask it, right? The grand slams have been frequent and even just clutch homers, right? Like you came back last year after the surgery and your first game back, you smashed a 3-run homers. So there is some clutchness in you. I know some people will be like, well, what is it? How do you deliver and hit grand slams and whatever? I'm not going there. How about just, is clutch real? Because there are many computer models that say it's not real and eventually the unclutch will be clutch. And I think that is so freaking off. And that is the case for any sport. You can freeze, you can choke, right? You can have free throws in the playoffs in a basketball game and just not be able to sink them. And I think that is a trait. Do you?
I absolutely do. I think that's what separates, you talk about basketball as a good example, right? You get Kobe Bryant or Derek Fisher, who you giving the ball to. And so in my opinion, it's similar in baseball. There's guys that step up to the occasion, and I hope and hopefully I have more opportunities to do so and get the opportunity and the chance and be blessed to come out on top in those situations in a positive manner because, man, it's been a fun ride so far, and I've been blessed to take advantage of those opportunities so far. And, man, they've been a ton of fun, I'll tell you that. It's been fun.
Where's your positive attitude from? Because if people look at your injury history, you look at some of the struggles that you had, struggles, okay? You're a young man in the big leagues. I get it. Struggles are relative. But where's your positive attitude come from?
Yeah, I think, like you mentioned, I'm a young man in the big leagues living my dream. And I figured, obviously the injuries, they sucked, and they were really tough to grind through, for me and my family. And to have my family and that support and that the friends that I had and the staff and the team that helped me, my agency helped me. It was truly a blessing and an honor because, and that's where I'm kind of very positive about is I just know that I'm very blessed and have a great opportunity here that I can't throw away, and I got to work harder and harder and enjoy the time while it lasts because a lot of my mentors like a Torrey Hunter, Matt Kemp, Torrey Hunter Jr., these guys that have played the game and played it for a high level for a long time, Joe Mauer, all these Twins legends, right? They all talk about how fast it goes. And so, I'm sure you guys can relate and talk about how quick your career lasted. And it was like you're in and you're out. And so I want to be in it as long as I can and enjoy it as much as I can.
My career lasted forever.
You were long. I was going to say.
It was way too long, Royce. I hung around way too long.
Yours was too long.
In and out, you're good.
You ruffled a lot of feathers.
This is an easy question. This is an easy question.
Is it?
What is another big leaguer from your high school?
Yeah, I got Austin Hedges, and we got a bunch soon to be big leaguers. Chase Strumpf, Davis Wenzel. So.
None of the minor leaguers. This is a big league question. Okay, do you
Austin Hedges? Yeah.
Do you look at Austin? Do you talk to him and you go, "You're just not as good as me"? Because if I was as good as you, and Austin came through, because Austin's going to talk a little smack. I don't know if you know him at all, but he's gonna he's a typical catcher. He's going to talk a little bit of smack. Would you just look at him and be like, "You ain't that good"?
With a ring too.
Yeah,
he's got the ring. Yeah,
he's got a ring.
No, I wouldn't say that. I don't compare like that. But I definitely talk trash to him. He was talking trash. He actually was a position player on the mound when we were beating up on Texas earlier in the regular season, and he came in and he was smiling at me, and I'm like, man, I got to get a hit or else he's gonna be talking, man. And so sure enough, he's talking. As soon as I hit that fly ball in the air, he goes, "You ain't got it like that." So. We have fun with each other, man. It's always great to see him.
That's awesome. I'm so pissed you didn't hit a homer against him.
Me too.
Next time.
Me too. Next time.
There will be another chance.
There will be another chance. You will be beating the brakes off of another team at some point.
Hopefully the Guardians this year now that he's in our division.
Exactly.
Yeah. Ooh,
exactly.
I like that.
Bring it.
Hey, any of your numbers retired there yet?
I got my number retired at my high school, and man, that was just a blessing, and it was so awesome, to be honest, because my coach, I have the highest regard for him, Brett Kay, and the fact that he, put me and honored me there at the school, it means a lot.
All right, last one. I want the Carlos Correa scouting report right now. So you get to play next to him. Obviously, we know what he's all about, but let's get the lowdown from you of how he's looking in spring training, because he dealt with the plantar fasciitis most of last year. And then obviously injuries disappear in the playoffs. He just can't not be good in the playoffs. But what's he looking like right now in spring training?
Yeah, you know what? You're right about the playoffs, man. He comes to the clutch gene. He's got that. So he comes out when we need him the most, and right now he looks like his playoff self, man. He's swinging the ball. His hands are electric. They're fast, and his defense, you already know about that platinum gold glove. It's automatic. I mean, it's pretty special, and the amount of tips and advice he's been able to give me and just talk to me mid-game. I mean, we're talking mid-at-bat. He's like, hey, back up 2 steps. He's not going to hit it to your right or whatever. And I'm like, all right. And then when it actually happens, I'm like, now I have some faith, and now this is – the tips and the inside tricks of why he got a platinum gold glove, I'm understanding now. And it's just so awesome to, be up with your childhood hero, defensively and watch him play every single day.
Can you win a gold glove? Everybody talks about, I was just talking about the offense. We talked about your, position, now it's solidified. Can you win a gold glove?
Personally for me, I think that's my main objective, is to show out on defense each and every day, because that's something I can control more so than the hitting. I'm gonna compete up there at the plate each and every day, no doubt. But I'm most looking forward to the whole entirety of Royce Lewis as a player this year, and showing that I'm gonna play 140 plus games. I'm gonna give you the best competition level at the plate, and then I'm also gonna play defense the hell out of it. So I'm looking forward to it.
So once that does happen, you'll get the gold humility necklace, and away you go, man.
yeah. Hey, gold, and then the next level will be platinum. So we got to keep working.
Man.
Okay, yeah. Mama's gotta make sure she makes some platinum ones when that happens.
Exactly.
You didn't quite answer it. Has Rocco said an actual number? Because we always talk about like.
You mean like games played?
Games played. Do they
games
set a
played,
number,
yeah.
or do they say, hey, we're going to go 5 to 6 days a week in April, 5 to 6 in May, and then see where we're at?
Yeah, you know what? He hasn't even, honestly, we haven't talked about any of that. I think we're just focused on the day in, day out, just trying to take care of the body and make sure that we're on top of things, because obviously with the injury past, you're making sure it never goes away, right? So you got to make sure you're on top of the knee, for me, hamstring stuff all the time, just because we're still running a lot. And, those are the main concerns at the moment. I think that our goal together is to play every day and be available every day. Now, honestly, it's up to him whether I'm in there or not, but I should actually go have a conversation. So I appreciate you guys sparking that for me.
Rocco's like, stop sending guys to FT. They're picking our teammates over each other, making me make decisions.
Just trying to play 180 games. Yeah, look at this.
Hey, that's why we have you guys.
Yep.
Awesome catching up with you as always. We had multiple fans asking. I just posted the website that we were talking about in the chat too. So, Royce, great catching up. Enjoy the rest of spring training. We'll catch you during the season. All right, man?
All right, let's do it. Hey, thanks, guys. We'll get you some humility chains coming soon.
Send them.
Yes,
Send
please.
them.
I'm in. Thank you.
Send it in, Jerome.
Thank you, Mama Lewis.
Awesome.
I'm going to hold him to it, too.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Then he's not allowed back on. If I don't get him in 3 days, we're done.
You don't wear chains.
I will now.
You need something to get away from that face. That's what you need to do.
I mean,
are we still on?
This is Kratz right here.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So goofy today.
Yeah.
Whew. Yeah.
All right. Let's
he used his name in the third person. It was great.
Did you like that?
I did. I respect it. Kind of little Ricky Henderson action.
When we're not around to keep Todd accountable in Tom's River, he has definitely said the words Todd Frazier and then completing
That's
the
a
sentence.
lie. No lie. That's a lie.
What about when you were, at your peak?
When I was 12.
40.
when you put 40 of them
Come on.
Johns in the seats.
no.
Yeah.
No.
When they had
Stop it.
They had the PED test.
Stop
this kid
it.
at
If
12.
anybody's in the chat
Stop it.
from Tom's River,
Yes.
if you have heard Todd Frazier
And
refer
they
to
will
himself
say
as
no.
Todd Frazier
Or Todd Father.
or Todd Father, yes, there's a caveat there. It's the same person.
Whatever. Don't listen to Kratz. He's from a small town in Pennsylvania.
Also expected guests, by the way, Chris Paddock and Jayce Tingler.
I have a good
Still on
question.
the
for
guest
Kratz.
list.
I hope he comes on.
Gross.
I hope that Kratz steals the question.
I hope
He's
Jayce
not
doesn't
going
come
to.
on.
Don't put it in the chat.
I mean, when Jayce pulled his hamstring in the Rugnet Odor fight. And I already asked him that last time he was on in the playoffs.
No, I was talking about Paddock.
Oh, Paddock. I
Paddock.
thought you
Don't give
meant
it away.
Jayce Tingler.
Paddock at the disco. Ooh.
Each.
That should be his player's game, but they don't do it anymore.
Yeah, they don't do fun stuff.
That was a lot of
They
fun.
don't allow them to choose their own drip.
It should be at the disco. Should be in the back.
Paddock
At the disco.
That's really good. You got to tell him that.
That is good.
Chris Paddock's a great interview, by
Too
the
bad
way.
MLB doesn't.
I like it.
wanna
I'm
do that.
excited.
Mm-mm.
I've never talked to the countryman.
Let's get to a spring training article while we have a moment. I'm sure we'll get interrupted, but I don't care. That's good. If it's a player. So I'll just say this. There was an article in the Athletic. Zach Mizell and Cody Stavenhagen did a great job about the potential of spring training being shortened. It's not being discussed. It was just more kicked around as a question to players. And Ron Washington said, quote, "Don't take this the wrong way, but when you hear players say that spring training is too long, check the generation." But then you had a lot of other guys obviously saying it is too long. And in fairness, I mean, I'm not that young anymore. My entire life, I feel like I've heard players, especially position players, saying, we could chop this down by 2-3 weeks.
I'm going to quote Steve Jeltz on this one. If you don't know who Steve Jeltz is,
Look him up.
look it up. He said, his exact words were, I didn't do nothing until we got to spring training. So, Ron, I get what you're saying. The generation is different. They had greenies to make it through parts of the season, okay, to make it through tough parts of the season.
True.
And B, I think guys come into spring training like peak level. Before, the best players that would come into spring training were the guys that played winter ball. They'd been playing the whole time, and then they get into spring training, they're mid-season form. Not that they're exhausted, just that they're mid-season form.
Mm-hmm.
Now guys are going to tread. They're going to drive line. They're going to, high-level performance studio of your choice in the area, and they're coming in, they're ready to go. Dudes are throwing 99 first live bullpen, and you're like, why do we need spring training? Why do we need 6 weeks of him throwing super hard? To me, I agree, but again, it's a moot point. It will never happen. There is too much cash heesh in spring training, everything around spring training. Political leaders run on platforms of, hey, we're keeping the Blue Jays in Dunedin. They were looking at leaving. They're like, if we don't give $200,000 of our Dunedin tax money to the stadium to revamp the stadium to what it is, the Blue Jays will leave and they'll go to another city. And that is 6 weeks of tourist boom for that area.
Not $200K. It's a lot more than that.
For the big league stadium. A Florida stadium? No.
But
We're not
for
talking
the facility, the whole area, there's some spring training cities that have given 7 figs. No,
that I don't know.
I'll Todd, you talk. I'll find
They
it.
They dropped 80 on the new minor league complex, and I thought
80
it was
mil.
Yeah,
Right. So
and then another 120 on the big league field.
Right, but you're saying Dunedin only gave 200 for that?
Yeah, I don't think the Blue Jays put any of it into it. There's an article I read a long time ago when they were building it.
Dunedin, though. Who put into that facility?
Dunedin.
Right. You said
200,000. 120 plus 80,000.
That's it? That's all it costs to fix that up?
Yeah, because Shohei could have bought the facility with his first year of salary.
I think it's millions.
Smaller stadiums.
Yeah.
Did I say K or did I say million?
You said K.
The whole time I was like, why is $200 million not that much?
Oh.
$200 million.
Thank you.
Not
I'm like,
200K.
You said 200K.
Like the whole time, 200K.
You said 200 Michael K.
I was
They
like,
might they might have gotten some paint for the seats. I tripled down on me
What's
saying
wrong with this guy?
my whole mind was at 200 million.
This
That's
dude did
okay. I got it.
a Dylan Cease breaking news show late last night. And
That
it
was
just
my
hasn't
fault.
been the same
And
since.
and Scott's been at my house for the last 6 days.
That is
I
true.
like you guys together because you're like shoulder to shoulder. It makes
Yeah.
so
We're goofy today. We're goofy.
No, but the last point I'll make is, they got to make their money over there because when they do leave, remember you play in the Florida State League? I know.
No.
I don't know if it's different now, but there'd be like 15 people. It wouldn't be
Nobody was
as
out.
big. So they got to make their money. But I do like what Stephen Vogt said, the quote he did, because this is what I believe in too. He quote, spring training is for pitchers to build up. It always has been. It always has been. Always will be. I agree. I think they do need to get their outings in, and for hitters, take another day off if you need it. If you feel like you're already good, it is what it is.
The regulations are a little tough. Snit said that the other day when he came on with us. Voters told me that, hey, you know what? You can't, if you're not going to shorten spring training, don't put the regulations on me. I don't have to take 3 of my superstars to Palm Beach they have
to have four of the regulars going.
And you have to establish who your regulars are, or else they'll just take all minor leaguers. They have to be able to maybe mitigate that in the sense of like not making those guys making all those guys go because that affects the scheduling too. But there's rules. There's MLB rules, and they actually get fined for that if they don't take superstars. Or
just major league caliber guys.
Do they have to play?
Everyday guys.
Every day.
And they have to play.
They have to be in the line.
You have to bring 4 guys to every road trip.
Is it 4?
It's either 3 or 4.
Yeah.
So the starting pitcher is usually 1, and then 3.
Yep.
3 batters.
That's where I was thinking 3.
I would mess with it because I bet you they don't
And they
have
do.
this caveat ready. So I bring 3 or 4. I put them out in the field for 1 pitch, and then I go.
Yeah, but
so you just
drive
made a 2.5 hour drive?
But at least they didn't have to play. I got to do it.
Oh no! You get your 3 to 5
No.
innings in, or maybe even
They're
you get
missing
2 at bats, 3 at bats. Yeah.
Whit Merrifield's missing his Valspar tee time if
Well, he doesn't go that day. Someone else takes the hit.
Just
But
depends.
they're held to that standard, and there's a financial. You get fined. I remember one day we looked up, and we were in Winter Haven where the Indians were. Now, Guardians then moved to Arizona, and I looked up, and I was in the starting lineup for the Blue Jays when I was a minor leaguer, and I'm looking around, and I was like, man, oh man, I'm like, we have none of our starters here.
Right, exactly.
And Reed Johnson was leading off, and Reed Johnson goes, Looks like the Blue Jays are getting fined today. Not a lot of guys here. And we're facing CC Sabathia, too. First pitch, Reed Johnson, line drive right off of Sabathia's forearm. It looked bad. Sabathia drops an F-bomb, walks off the mound. It was supposed to be his last start of spring training. But at the end of spring training, all those superstars, Frank Thomas ain't going. Troy Gloss ain't going. Vernon Wells ain't going to Winter Haven to play in those games. So I think that's where the answer is. It's definitely not less games. Sorry, voter. You're a manager. You're going to all 6 weeks of games.
Hang with them.
Yeah. And a lot of people love planning spring training. It makes sense.
It's good for the kids, too.
It's good for the kids.
It's a
You
great
get
environment.
access to the players. You do have more of a window here if it's the 6 week range versus the, what do they want, 3 to 4?
I think that's what – I mean, you could say it better. I had to come into spring training ready to go to show a team that I could play or not play, whether I was going to AAA or not. But what did you need?
I would say at least 4 weeks.
So how many ABs? So you're saying you need
I would need 40 to 50 at bats.
Okay. See, I would say that's probably higher than most guys would say, but maybe
really?
I'm wrong.
What do they need, 30, 40?
I always knew my number was
I know
25.
Albert Pujols wanted like 80 one year. I remember hearing he talked about it.
Did it matter like back to back, off, back to back to back, off, or was it just a certain amount of ABs?
In the beginning, I wanted a day in between, and then halfway through, it's like, all right, back to back, then have a day, and then like the last week and a half, it was like, all right, kind of go all, and it wasn't playing all 9, but it was like, all right, at least get 5 to 7 in, at least get 5 to 7.
The one year I was a starter, I was named the starter in spring training, and 13 I was with the Phillies. I know. They were really rough. Yeah. Wow. I was pretty legit.
How many injuries?
Chooch got a suspension before the season, so he's out for 25 games.
Okay.
And I remember Charlie Manuel was like, he's like, you're going to be the starter. And I like my starters to play. First game of spring training, I went 7.
Oh.
I went 7. Vic Carapazzo was behind the dish. Vic goes, are you going CG first day? I said, Vic, you and I have grinded in the minor leagues. I said, if they want me to stay in the game, I am not reminding them to take me out of the game because they may never put a
cold tub.
It was nice. I was always a cold tub guy. I love the cold tub.
You're a freak. You know that.
Freak a leak.
Was that well? Because that wasn't PEDs. What did he get?
Adderall.
Oh, Adderall.
Okay.
Which was
it was
greenies for some at
No,
point.
Adderall definitely works really well for guys, but when you have a prescription and then there's like
that whole deal,
there's like a window that it runs out because that stuff it's
insane.
It's not fair. There's a lot of guys that got a bad rep for that.
Should have just kept the greenies around,
or just
I mean,
I'm not gonna
encourage. Like I'm not gonna condone.
You love green.
I do love spinach. Yes, Popeye.
All right, let's get to a little other spring training action while we wait for our next guest.
Why not?
Yamamoto is not the real deal. No. In spring training, he's got 3 starts, 9 earned runs, and 9 2/3 innings, 15 hits, 4 walks, 14 strikeouts. 14 strikeouts.
Can I be honest with you? I'm going to say something here, and you guys might not agree.
Wait. When somebody says that, does that mean you weren't being honest the whole rest of the time? Or we have to question?
No. I'm going to say something. I don't know what I meant to say.
Well, you said.
Let me just be honest with you.
Thank you.
And I've never not been honest.
Okay, that's better now.
His fastball is going to get hit.
No.
And I'm saying right now, I'm calling it. His off-speed stuff is filthy. I think his fastball is going to get hit this year. I don't see much moving on it. You call me crazy. Call me whatever you want. I think he's going to get good, but I don't see much movement on the fastball. And I don't care how fast you throw. I think it's going to get hit hard. From what I've seen so far.
Is he not a Rookie of the Year candidate for you?
I'm always going to think he's got a chance, but I'm not going to pick him number 1. No.
Okay.
Dude,
and listen, this could be a hot take or whatever you want to do it. Mm-hmm. I think his fastball is going to get hit.
Majority of Japanese pitchers would 100% agree with you.
Yes.
They come over and they throw their breaking balls.
You
will see a high percentage I am in complete agreement with Todd in the fact that I don't think he's going to want to throw his fastball enough.
And when he does throw it, it's not going to be for strikes, or at least I think
we are
inside.
gross generalization
Yeah.
of Japanese pitchers, but you are spot on.
Oh man,
Does it not have ride,
Woo!
fade,
Give me some,
two
man.
plane
Let's
movement?
Go. Let's go.
I
Let's
don't
go.
feel like it's a flat heater.
I think it.
Is it?
I'm-
I don't think
I
so.
think
From
it's
what I
tr-
saw.
I think
Shorter
it's
shorter
straight.
pitchers with a straight ride fastball
I think it's
have a
flat.
tough time getting that late life explosion at the end. Does he have it? Absolutely. We're not talking about him being a 3. We're talking about, is he a Cy Young candidate? Is he a Rookie of the Year candidate? And I would agree with his fastball. I think his breaking balls are elite.
Yes.
In the sense that he can move them around
And
a
this.
lot.
All right, we'll
We gotta
table
cut you
that,
off.
and we'll have time because we'll have post-game shows on the Dodgers-Padres games. Let's
I'm
go
gonna
back
have
out to
Tingler.
Twins camp right now. Jayce Tingler standing by to rejoin the show. Jayce, how you doing, man?
You know, I just got on and I'm hearing some heated debate, and I'm here for it. I love it.
It was
Yeah,
good. We
okay.
needed to
Yeah,
break it
no,
up. It
let's-
was going to
let's
get
ask him.
physical. It was going to get
Let's
physical.
ask her. I brought up a little hot take here. I said Yamamoto's fastball is going to get hit, and that's my pick. I don't see much movement on it. And you know, big league hitters, you throw me that straight heat, guess what? I'm gonna you might as well throw me 5 sliders and 5 splitters because that's the only way you're going to get me out. I'm going to hit it hard somewhere.
No, I hear you. Obviously, we're out here in the Grapefruit League, so we don't have to worry about it right now. And I'm really glad we don't have to worry about Yamamoto's heater, splitty, and probably the other 7+ pitches that he has. So that part I'm happy about.
So what are you worried about then, Tingler? Because the mate is on line 1, and we're in Florida right now in the Florida State League where Jayce Tingler was an all-star one time. Now, what the mate wants to know is, what are you guys worried about? What are the Twins worried about going into the season here? We're only a few days away.
Well, we got about 2 weeks to go. We open up in Kansas City, and we did our second round of cuts. So the group is starting to get smaller, which is nice. And now's that time of spring training where we need to start locking in, and at the plate, need to start having better at bats and carry that momentum into the season. Like everybody in all camps, you're hoping to get through the final 2 weeks as healthy as you can. And you want to put, a healthy group, the team that you envisioned, out there for opening day. And so that's really what we're shooting for here, the final 2 weeks of playing.
I know you're not the one making the cuts, but you and I were through the times when, somebody's going to tap on your shoulder and it's time. Are you the guy that goes in and taps on somebody's shoulder to give them the walk of death to Rocco's office?
Oh, no.
I am the Grim Reaper, and I keep going to Rocco. And I think the most efficient way to do it is off the movie Major League, where they put a red tag in the locker. And that's what we're shooting for. But Rocco has not signed off on that yet.
But wait. Why is that not a thing? Because it's always happening on payday. When the envelope comes, the Grim Reaper is about 5'6", Jayce Tingler.
Nobody wants to see me anyway, and they definitely don't want to see me on like those cut release days. So anyway, I think the big portion of that's done, and that's it.
What's your move? Because this is something that we talked about in the show, and we'll probably talk about it again at the end of spring training.
Hand on the shoulder.
Are you
Yes.
a hand on the shoulder? Rocco needs to see you. And have you gotten any good reactions from anybody? Because one time, DeMarlo Hale was coming to fire me again for like the 4th time in the big leagues. And I saw him coming, and I said, "Hey, no, don't do it. My family's got to eat." And he was like, "What?" Well, he's like, "Yeah, you got to go see Gibby." But anyway, has anybody had any good reactions?
No good reactions, and my move is they obviously know what's coming. I go up, grab them on the shoulder. So at this point, they know what it is, and it's like, hey, look, I fought for you. I fought for you hard, but, at the end of the day, it's Rocco's call. So I play the good guy, and then I make Rocco be the bad guy.
You throw him right under the bus.
Absolutely.
Do you do the same thing? Because people might not know it. Jayce Tingler is fluent in Spanish, self-taught, no lessons, thanks to you, Dad. But do you do the same thing to the Latino guys? You're like, "Hey, malo mia, the jefe, no te gusta, man. No te gusta. Pero me gusta, man."
That's exactly how it goes down. That's exactly. Yes.
Oh my God. Poor.
Incredible. All right, so give me the lowdown on the team. Who has stood out so far in spring training? We were trying to get to Paddock. I think we're going to run out of time before the game starts, so you can give me the scouting report on him because I know he wasn't really a factor until late in the season last year. But I mean, I think the Twins are hoping he's going to be like a 2 or a 3 or just a big part of the rotation, right?
Yeah, I think, going into camp, excuse me, I think our biggest questions we're losing Sonny Gray, we're losing Kenta Maeda. And so, you feel good up top with Pablo. And now it's been Paddock, it's been Ober, it's been Varland, it's been Joe Ryan. And then Disco Fani had a small setback at the beginning of spring training, and now he's currently built up. So I think in all fairness, the starting pitching, Joe Ryan, Paddock, Ober, some of the guys that maybe just your common fan that they don't know, they've had good spring trainings. They're throwing the ball well. They're being built up. They're currently going 4 innings, getting built up to 5, as we speak, going into the game today. And so the health of those guys, and then just the overall current development, can Joe Ryan, can Bailey Ober, can Chris Paddock, can Louie Varland, can these guys take another step like they did last year in their development? I think that's going to really dictate, how we get off and get going throughout the year.
All right, there's so many narratives that surround teams going to spring training. I feel like I'm a big baseball fan, but I'm not in Minnesota. I'm not down there in Fort Misery in spring training, so I don't see everything. The narratives are great bullpen, really handles, the lineup handles pitches in the zone really well, maybe strikes out a little too much. What's a narrative that we don't know of about the Twins or a player that we're missing out on? Because we just had Louie Varland on, and I said you guys should have kept him in the bullpen because he threw $1 billion out there. But what's a storyline or a narrative that we're missing from Twins camp?
I think if you look back at last year, we're kind of a story of 2 stories. The first half, and we were okay at best. Maybe 3 or 4 games over 500. We'd play 2 good games, 1 bad game. I think the emergence the second half, Royce Lewis is healthy and comes in. I think Eddie Julian, Matt Wallner, A.K. Kirilloff. There are some young position players that kind of stepped in and really did a lot of heavy lifting as far as carrying the load offensively a little bit the second half. So I think like that's a storyline. I think, look, Buxton's back in center field. Carlos is healthy now with his foot. And so you kind of look up. You've got, 3 players from Buxton and Royce and Correa. They either went 1-1 in the country or 1-2. And then you blend them in with some good, young players, whether that's Julian and AK and Wallner. You've got some veteran players. We added Santana. Max Kepler's been around now. Christian Vasquez behind the plate, Ryan Jeffers. And so, I think like we're a solid team. But what we want to try to avoid, we got off to, I don't want to say a bad start. We didn't get off to a bad start. We didn't get off and get running until about the second half. And we'd like to click it on all cylinders a little bit earlier this year.
You just said about some 1-1s and 1-2 guys. There is a sport that I think I would take you 1-1 in. Do you know what that is?
No, what?
Egg toss. Where did you play?
Oh, yes.
In the Minnesota Twins egg toss, John.
So I've been the referee for 2 years. Hank Conger is my assistant, and we referee a very clean game. It's by the book. This year, third base coach Tommy Watkins inserted himself into a play that's pretty controversial. We got down to the Elite 8. And what Hank and I do as experienced refs, we call it by the book early on. But come down to the Elite 8, we're going to let the players play. We're going to swallow our whistle. And Tommy Watkins may have inserted himself into a play, and there's been a lot of controversy in the clubhouse because of that.
Can we get a little more into this, or is this a when in Vegas thing? Because I can see you as a very by the book ref, but I can see you getting emotional too, like the hamstring in the Rougned Odor fight. Like,
was there a protest? Just like in travel ball, you got to go up to the ump and say, "Hey, we're protesting the game."
P.
All I'll say this. First of all, let's not bring up the hamstring in the Odor fight up. That's out of bounds.
Every time.
Every time. And number 2, the benefit of Farmer and Royce won the egg contest. I just got done eating about 4 ground beef tacos from a taco truck. And so the winners, Royce and Farmer, I don't know why we say Royce. I don't think he had anything to do with it. Farmer brought in a taco truck, and so everybody's currently crushing tacos because of the winnings of the egg contest. So everybody's happy.
Okay, so the controversy will stay in Twins camp, but everybody loves tacos from a taco truck, and let Royce get off that wallet a little bit. He was just on here.
He was
mean,
first overall pick, though.
1-1. That money is – he needs to get on that.
The
Like,
money's high.
he can't just let Farmer pay all that, pay the cash for the taco truck.
Right.
Don't be scared.
Now, I disagree. So Farmer, as the veteran player, he's done his role nicely. It was take care of the taco truck and let Royce focus on grand slams. That's his job, and I think Farmer executed that plan to a T.
What a pro. What a pro.
That is a pro move. Whew. Jayce, awesome catching up with you as always. Have fun the next couple weeks, and then can't wait for the regular season to start. We'll catch you during the season, all right?
Awesome. You guys keep killing it. Take care.
Thank you. Appreciate you. See you soon, Jayce. That's good competition. Hey, these guys are competitive with everything. Also, by the way, I just always take my brain towards a certain direction. I thought when he started saying taco truck and we ate a bunch before and whatever, that there was going to be some mistimed situation where they had to make a call.
What I was,
you know
I was
what I'm
like,
saying?
I was
I'm
like,
what's
the bad call?
Did we mistime our pregame tacos?
Juggle or something.
Tommy Watkins is the guy. Tommy Watkins in the minor leagues. Played against him forever. He was a twin minor leaguer. I'll never forget. He came up to the plate the one time and he goes, it was the first pitch, and he kind of like stepped out all awkwardly, and he's like, he's kind of got a voice like this, Tommy Watkins. And he's like, I was like, oh man, I smelled something. The umpire goes, was that you?
I think he shit his pants.
He goes, I go, it wasn't me. And he goes, Tommy. He's like, did you fart? He goes, hey, I did. And I'll never forget it. And every time I see him waving somebody from third base, he used to be the first base coach.
Oh my God.
Oh man, he goes, I did. And it was just in his voice. If anybody else was like, yeah, I did, it wouldn't have been as memorable.
No, that's too funny.
How often does that happen?
Farting?
I know how often farting happens. Like you're on a base
like
though.
4
You're in
times
a
a
big
night.
league game,
Yeah.
and something like that's
Especially
going
the
down.
catcher.
Some dude
You're,
rips
you're
one.
in battle. You know what I'm saying?
It wouldn't be as many as it might happen 2 or 3 times a season where you smell one. More the umpires.
There's been some guys with some BO behind that dish.
Now, that's the thing.
And
Stinky. We named him.
I
Stinky.
can't even say his name because I respect him too much.
Right. Good player. But
Great guy.
stink.
But it's just the umpires are calling the games, some of the quickest games you'll ever see in your life, because they couldn't handle being back there from some of the stench from one couple catchers. Oh.
Yeah. It's a disease, so it's not like he just chose not to wear.
No, but isn't it an advantage? Like, is it a performance enhancer?
I don't know. He was good at what he did. I'll put it that way. But I would say I smell more than I would smell farts. I would smell guys' overuse of cologne.
Do you know?
Like, you're so delicious.
I was 9 years old in an All-Star game. I shit my pants at shortstop.
You told us
yes.
That was during the Pete Alonso story.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was.
Remember?
I had to come in and pitch to it. And it was all down my leg, just straight water. We ended up losing. I gave up the bases loaded triple, too.
And that was your kryptonite.
Everybody's crying. I'm like, thank God that game's over. I know it was bad.
Everyone's crying because you lost.
First pitch off the wall. 9-year-old hit a 200-footer off the wall. 3-run score. Everybody's crying. We lost. I'm like, oh God. I'm like, Dad, get me home right now.
Todd's waddling over to back up third base.
No, I didn't
Game
move.
over.
Didn't move. I was trying to leak it out in my pants. It was terrible. It was bad.
And back then, Podfather was a machine.
I was.
He
was a
pitching
unit. That
perfect
kid.
games. He's hitting homers
Yo.
every freaking pitch you give him that's anywhere near the zone, and they're like,
Oh.
"We found his kryptonite."
There's a 9.
Pre-game
I
brownies.
don't even know what I ate.
There's a 9U kid that is so
happy
juiced.
right now that I said
Dude,
that.
I remember when I hit that double off of
Yes.
Todd to win the game.
Oh, man.
I knew I was going to make the high school team.
Yeah, he got
'cause I
lucky.
hit Todd
He's
Frazier.
lucky I had diarrhea all down my leg. Like a puddle. It was. The umpire goes, "Holy shit, what's that smell?" I said, "I know, man. I came up here too. It's terrible."
Oh, you were doing that?
Yeah,
Like,
I blamed
who
it on.
is that?
Yeah, I was it. I did. I didn't know.
So
I
embarrassed.
was 9. I was so
You got to
embarrassed.
throw your
My
cleats
dad's
out.
laughing his ass off. No, it didn't. Bro, the pants were so tight at the bottom, nothing got through them. It was amazing. Sorry, man.
Sorry, one other thought. So you ever hear the show I Think You Should Leave?
No.
The Netflix show?
Oh.
Where the guy, there's one scene where he crashes his car into a store, and it didn't hurt anyone, but everyone's like, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
And it's a hot dog truck, and the
he's
dude's
like,
wearing a
"Who
hot
did that?
dog
Who
suit,
did that?"
and he goes, "Who did this?" He's like, "Come on, whoever it is, you're not going to be
Yo,
in trouble.
seriously, help me out.
You're not going to
No.
be in trouble." It's Tim Robinson.
I was
He's
so
like,
good at that, by the way, just the deflecting the blame. Like if I did something and the guy's like, "What the heck?" I'm like, "I know, John. Who did that? This is ridiculous.
I'm gonna get to the bottom of it.
Was it you?" And everybody knew it was me, and nobody would say anything.
Yeah, because you're the star player. That's what
Oh.
it is. They're like, "Yo, it's
I'm like-
Todd.
I'm
we
like-
got to
I'm like,
cover him."
Don't call him
I'll
out.
find him.
Don't call him
I'll
out,
find
bro.
I'll find him. And I'm looking over there, and everybody's laughing their ass.
Literally.
Almost ruined Todd's career.
Almost.
On that note, let's figure out who's going to lead the league in hits. Your BetMGM futures. We got 2 categories today. Let's start with hits leader.
Don't add an S to the beginning of that. Todd at 9U.
That's all it took. Just one of those.
Deep breaths. All right.
Hits later.
Hits leader. So here's your top 5, and obviously you can always go off the board, and I'm loving when the chat plays along.
Wow.
So help me out here. Give me a dark horse candidate too. Luis Ariz, Freddie Freeman, Ronald Acuna Jr., Bo Bichette, and Corey Seager are in your top 5. Luis Ariz, obviously.
Yeah,
He's
but
a
it's
G.
plus 750.
That's
Why can
high.
I not take that?
Yeah, why? I would take that.
That
all day.
we just talked about it
All
yesterday
day.
with the plus 140, plus
This
300.
is 750.
This is 750. I love this. I hate that we can't discuss this because
What do you mean?
I don't see hits leaders on here besides Luis Ariz. That is his. I will take my 750.
Like, Kratz, that is his John.
That's his John right there.
I agree.
Like that is his game. He doesn't go away from it. He is a
750 high.
low strikeout.
But wait for it. He did not lead the league in hits last year.
I'm fine with that.
Oh, who did?
Okay. So I'll give you the top 5. Ronald Acuna Jr. at 217.
Uh-huh.
Freddie Freeman at 211. Ariz was at 203. Semien 185, and Julio Rodriguez at 180.
Why did you start from the first? You got to go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, like a countdown?
Yeah, I didn't like it. I'm not happy
Okay.
with you.
Well, now I know you're a countdown guy.
I like. Do you agree?
You wanted the anticipation.
I did.
You wanted
Yeah.
the build up.
He's a
did.
gambling man. I just want to know the surefire ones.
I will tell you this though. Luis Ariz missed a little bit of time, right? I'm trying to remember what it was.
I think it was like
I'll
a
find it.
a-
Ankle or something?
I thought it was like a quick 10 or
That hurts. That's 20
maybe
hits.
like a 15-day thing. He's getting 5 hits. He went like 0 for 9 and we were getting, or 0 for 14 and we were getting on him. We were getting on Scott more so than Luis Ariz, and he dropped below 400 and then he went 5 for 5 in the next game and he got back up to 400.
But here's the thing. Ronald Acuna had an unbelievable year. Is he going to do the same thing this year?
That's so tough.
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
It's also a lot of this has to do with health risk,
True.
right? Like Acuna already had a little scare. We had Alex Anthopoulos on the
Runs a
show,
lot.
and he's like, I want to tell him to just relax, but we know we can't
Yeah.
because he's got to do his thing because he's a monster. But Luis Ariz played 147 games last year. The guys above him played 161, 159. I don't think Luis Ariz is an injury-prone player.
No.
So I agree. For me, it's hard to throw money down on anyone else besides Luis Ariz because we're not dealing with a plus 150, a plus 250. It's plus 750.
Man, I might even dip into my purse that I got and go another 100 on Freddie. Like, I'm fine saying One of those guys is going to – if you tell me I take Arise and Freddie or the field, I'm taking Arise and Freddie.
Yeah.
Because Freddie's talking about he doesn't want to strike out 100 times.
Yes.
You can't walk him, so he's going to get more hits. He doesn't swing out of the zone until it's time to drive guys in, and then he drives everybody in. And he's going to have so many more guys on base. Like last year,
Shohei at first base a lot more. Ooh,
the stat was like what he was hitting with guys in scoring position or guys on base when nobody's on. There's going to be rare times when nobody's on for him. And so he's going to have an opportunity. He shortens his swing up. I'm not going to say he's going to hit 35 homers because he's going to try to drive in 140 runs. So I like both of those guys. And I love those numbers.
Man, it's interesting. I saw when I was broadcasting the game for the Yankees, Rizzo hit 2 singles in between in the 4-hole. Oh my God. And I was like, ground ball out.
Where you're going
and
there.
they both kind of just looked at each other. They didn't have a chance to get it, but
Right.
there's no more shifting anymore. There's
a
gonna
healthy
be some,
Rizzo? You're not going to healthy Rizzo. Like this isn't your Jose Abreu pick.
now it is.
Now it is.
It is because you
Anthony
said
Rizzo?
I'm going to put Rizzo on this list.
I wasn't going to until he opened his big ass mouth.
I strong-armed you.
He did. All right, Anthony. Plus, we got to find out what he is. But
I
anyway,
want to see even like what his
there's a lot of holes
recent
out
high
there
is.
now.
Dude,
There
I mean,
is. So you're saying maybe look at a lefty?
Anthony Rizzo is not leading the league in hits.
Don't yell at me.
Like I'm saying, there's no
That was-
chance.
Well,
That
he
was my
got
fault.
hurt yesterday.
No, it's not that. Good player. It's
That was
nothing
my
to do with
fault.
that. I like
It
Anthony.
was.
I'm just saying he's
There's
not the batting average machine.
No.
He'll take a walk. Like, dude, his career high for hits is what you want to guess?
No.
180.
No.
170.
Yeah, okay. I was going to say 160.
And that was in 2016.
No, I wasn't going to say.
Todd
him. I'm
wasn't
just
gonna say
saying
that.
There's a lot of holes now.
Yeah.
Without this shift as well. So
Yeah, it
Contact
helps.
lefty.
It helps.
It helps those guys.
Evan
For
Carter.
me, like I have Corey Seager at 5 here. That's a hard one for me for multiple reasons. He's coming off the late hernia situation. He has had his share of injury issues. You want to make sure that's preserved. So he's not going to play a full 162 most likely, even if he has like a full healthy season. And here's the big X factor. That offense is great. Still for me, that's the guy I circle. Can't beat us. I still don't understand. We went over this in our post-game shows during the World Series last year. I still didn't understand Arizona challenging him as much as they did, and really anyone challenging him as much as they did.
The one game he walked 5 times.
I know, but
They lost.
the Rangers lost. Or no?
The Rangers lost that game when he walked 5 times.
Did they lose that one? That was the Orioles? Because they swept the Orioles, right?
Yeah. I thought it was game. No. It was this. That was.
It was a different game?
That was the first one again. Now I'm forgetting. But you're right. You can't.
Either way, I don't care if they win or lose, whatever. I'm walking this dude a little more than I saw last year. That part I remember. I don't remember every freaking detail. I barely remember what I had for breakfast. Nothing. But I would walk him more. Okay, that's one. And I do like your idea on Freeman because I think he's a guy where you're like, he's a little less of a power threat. Let's try to mess around and get Freddie Freeman out.
And we're not talking about a guy up here too as well. I wanted to dive into
I like this.
a little Mookie Betts action, dude. I mean, that guy can hit it to all fields.
Mm-hmm.
He's got some juice. He's got some pop.
Lead off.
Spark plug. He's going to have a lot more bats.
Lower batting average than you would think. Career batting average.
It takes a walk. The guys that take a walk
hurt him.
Sometimes you got to be careful on this list here.
Yeah.
On this, you need a
I don't like walks on
swing
this
and
list.
swing and sway like Sammy K. Bo Bichette's, I like that, but I have to steer our audience to victories here. I want victories, and I want you to.
If I told you Mookie Betts was plus 2,200, would you put a little something on it?
Nope.
Weird. You're weird.
Okay,
Because I'm getting $750 from Luis Arise or $900 from Freddie's Freeman's.
Well, you put a hunch down and Mookie wins, you win 22 hunch.
Yeah, well,
Huh.
that's not going to happen.
You could take me to Sizzler.
Old poopy pants.
A couple other names that were thrown out there: Nico Horner, Jose Ramirez.
Jack Horner sat in the corner.
Ooh, see, this is a good one
Jose Ramirez
from
doesn't strike out.
Powderhorn. Edouard Julien, a dark horse.
Too much walks. That's why I didn't say Evan
Too many
Carter.
walks.
Evan Carter's going to walk a lot, which is not,
Yeah, of course.
Look,
Well, his
like,
nickname is Full Count Carter.
right. I don't want people to be like, oh, why are you hating on this guy? We're trying to help you win your $750 to $1,300 for a bet here.
I want it.
If you walk a ton like those guys, it can almost be a kryptonite. Like, you're not getting that 190 to 210 hits. Whit Merrifield, if he is a everyday player, gets a ton of hits. He is the hit king because he puts the ball in play on more pitches than just pitches middle.
And they challenge him. I think it was on this show. Didn't he tell us one of his first interviews how Greinke was like saying,
I wouldn't throw you anything. He's like, I'll just let you take your little single to right.
Yeah, he
if you
did.
beat me, yeah. That's who I want on my hits leader lists.
Those are the guys.
I want those guys.
And there's an
Luis
MVP
Arise.
candidate and Luis Arise.
Exactly. Okay, let's go to AL Rookie of the Year. We got one more today. Jackson Holiday plus 300. Evan Carter plus 300. Wyatt Langford plus 400. I think that's moved up.
I
think
told
that
you to
moved
be
up.
quiet and stop talking about him
Sorry
because
about it.
they're
They
changing
did.
the odds
They did.
in
Cole
Vegas.
Keith plus 1,000. Junior Caminero plus 1,000, who I love, but he's already definitely not starting off the year. I just think this year it's going to be competitive. So I need ABs. I need games. I mean,
need all
sure, if guy
160.
gets called up first month, all good. But I want guys to start off the season on the opening day roster for this year because you've got good position players.
And you're still taking your guy?
Is Langford not starting off? Did they? I don't think they said anything yet.
I don't know that he is.
What's the center fielder's name for the Giants now?
Lee, but
Son
he's
of
in the
the
National
wind.
League.
Man, why am I
American
off
League.
right now? I was thinking
That's
that.
okay. It was my fault. It was my whole 200K thing
Yeah, you got me rolling.
when I was thinking 200 million.
Yeah, this is tough.
Is it?
It's too small.
Kratz is Evan Carter City, aren't you?
I am.
I like Evan though.
I am. I love Evan Carter like you love cake. And like
Coffee cake.
I mean I really like Wyatt Langford. I think his swing, just watching a little bit of his swing from the tournament last year, the college tournament, I think there is so much it's just such a compact swing. But when I talk about a compact swing,
Yeah.
Colt Keith is really good. And I trust when a team sees enough to give him 20s of millions of dollars before he's ever played a game above AA, I think. He is a short, compact swing. He knows the zone, and he's going to be inserted in a lineup with other young guys that are going to get more of the heat than he is. I like that at 1,000, but I'm not coming off my Evan Carter.
There we go. I'm with you. I saw him play last year. He was a beast in the playoffs. Don't matter where you put him in the lineup either. So
For me, this got tight. Plus 400 makes it a lot tougher for me. When we were first talking about this,
I thought it was 6.
I
really thought it was double
it was
the
above
money.
5. Yeah, it was nice. And then they watched him go, I think 1 for 10 to start spring and then not miss since. I think he's like 400, bunch of big numbers since. I get it. It's spring training, but
It's a
that
great
dude is
swing.
competing for a spot.
It's a great swing. Like if you want somebody to look at a swing that can be duplicated, that is a swing that can be duplicated.
Mm-hmm.
Stays in the ground. He is short to the ball, long out through it, kind of a wider stance.
short to it,
Can
long
drive
to
the
it.
ball. Can drive the ball to all fields. Can take his hits to right field, and can hurt you deep down the line.
And
real.
and some are saying, and I saw this too. Yeah, so nothing announced yet, and he could log some good DH time. Great, little healthier, focus on the bat. Okay, I mean obviously he'll still throw himself out there at outfield, but he'll get some solid DH time as well. What's wrong with that?
No. I was just trying to think if they had somebody.
Mitch Garver's gone,
If they had somebody, yeah, I mean, they might just rotate that position through.
and for
I'm
that
not-
team, that's the move. Some teams, I'm like, stop it, right? But for that team, that's the move.
They have like 11 or 12 guys that are big league hitters. Talked about just the other day, Ezekiel Duran. That lineup is deep sauce.
Exactly. And look at the outfield. So you've got Carter, Leotis, Adolis, Wyatt can mix in, and then obviously your depth guys like Travis Jankowski, Duran can play out there. So a lot of names. All right, BetMGM, new customers. The Bet 5 Get 150 deal is on when you use the code FOUL, FOUL, if you're a new customer. Download the app or hit up BetMGM.com. Sign up and deposit at least $5 into that new account. Place a wager of at least $5 at standard odds price. And once you do that, you'll get $150 in bonus bets regardless of the outcome of your wager. And if you are in the great state of North Carolina right now, you can also be a part of that offer. And the state just launched this week for the BetMGM app. Got to use the bonus code FOUL, FOUL. Gambling problem or concern, call 1-800-GAMBLER. We got shout outs. So first off, I want to give a big thank you to Zach Higgins,
Yes.
Twins PR, hooking us up with a nice little setup out there and some players to join us from spring training. That was That was awesome. We didn't have one of our beautiful faces out there because we had AJ in San Diego last night to report on the Dylan Cease trade. Sorry for being the only ones in San Diego to get a look at what the ballpark
like nobody there.
view was.
You
got to admit though, that is pretty baller, right? Like
That's boss.
Tell me another national baseball show that was live at whatever time that was. I don't even remember. 8:30 p.m.
Nobody was
having some drinks, talking about
Curfew.
Dylan Cease getting traded to the Padres. You bring in Rosenthal. You bring in J.J. Cooper on prospects. You bring in Przinsky, who's staring at the ballpark, telling us what it looks like at the moment. That was cool. So anyway, Zach Higgins, Twins PR, thank you very much. Dustin Morse, the whole group there. Awesome job.
I really wish AJ would have been out there.
on a boat.
I'm here live from Petco Park. It's a ruckus crowd. They are excited about Dylan Cease. And then just one homeless person walks by and is like, I don't like the Padres. Go home. Go home.
They're
Brzezinski.
crowding the streets. They hear Dylan Cease.
I'm an Angels fan. I hate you, Brzezinski. We hate you.
So anyway, shout out there. Let's do Kratz hats next.
Per request from Todd, Todd said, next time you come out to my house, which unfortunately I got forced to come here today. Good. I rocked my school hat.
This the high school hat?
Where I coach at.
Wow,
Yeah.
little Detroit Tiger kind
When
of.
I left the house the other day, he was getting ready to go to practice.
Anything, the B?
He had the gamer pants on too that have the
Away
green
game.
pinstripes.
No, green pants with white pinstripes.
All right, green, even better.
I like this hat. I like it a lot.
A+.
No.
It's
Hey.
his high school
Hey.
coaching hat.
The only reason I give it an A because this part.
What's wrong?
Like
I'm not
that,
I'm not a fan of this material. I want it real.
Is it
Oh,
not
you want
real?
new era?
Yeah. Oh, you tell Richardson I respect him. No. Size 30? Jesus. 30 out of 12?
Large, extra large. Thank you.
I fit in that one, actually.
You do.
Hey,
twins.
listen.
I
Can
always
you-
listen.
can you
Why do you
get-
have to tell me to listen?
No, because sometimes
I'm listening.
Your nose bothers me. Anyway.
Like your thumb.
So is
my
this,
nose
is
and your
this like
thumb.
a sign for you to like the catcher?
No, everybody knows.
Oh, what's your indicator?
Imagine if my thumb
Let everybody know
like
your
yours.
indicator.
and next to my nose.
Let everybody know your indicator.
My indicator, skin.
Any part of the skin.
Yeah.
And
sometimes up here though, it's cold. So I'm like the only piece of skin I have is
Yeah.
like just the tips of my fingers or
bro,
or my nose.
the high school teams are watching right now.
Wait, how can you
Fine.
give that away? That's what I'm going to
I
say.
don't
But
really care.
It doesn't matter.
If you execute a play in baseball in high school, they can't defend against it. If you bunt correctly, you learn to bunt correctly, you learn to steal bases, they'll throw over 3 times, and then they'll pick their leg up. Most likely the catcher will panic, throw it. Like
at the disco.
you just do things.
Mm-hmm.
You just do things at a very fundamental state. So
I love
we're
that.
about to go to practice, and we'll talk about fundamentals, because fundamentals are half fun, half mental.
I'm fired up.
Listen, what's going to happen is he's going to lose in the state final. And the guy's going to be like, listen, I watched the show.
Yeah.
We knew you were squeezing.
We knew you were going to squeeze.
Yep.
He goes skin, and he goes,
There's no, I don't even give a sign for the squeeze. I just tell them we're going to squeeze.
yeah, that's better off.
Fun fact, the last 2 hours for me at school is study hall, and I just watch FT.
Do you know, last thing, do you do like like people have pads and they look?
No,
No
don't.
chance.
No.
There's no, even kids at 9 and 10-year-olds have this thing, and they look. The guy goes 552, so they go down 5 to 2. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Excuse my Jesus. Just terrible.
Yeah. The signs pad.
Yeah.
They were doing it in schools.
I'm not in
school
that. Too
and
much.
colleges. They do it too. They put it
All
on
the
their
time. Yeah.
on belt.
What is that?
But now in the PIAA, Pennsylvania's high school like rules committee, they're not allowed to wear it on their belt anymore. I'm like, why? Why do you guys make rules that are just like?
I'm just not into
stupid.
that.
And then they don't know the real rules.
Also, like, we're hooked to phones these days. I can't go across the street without Google Maps saying I should, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
So, and I will say, even before this stuff all became everything, when I was in high school playing hoops, that was actually the toughest part for me. I was like, we have like 80 plays in basketball, and I'm like, I only know like 40 of them. I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of like, set a pick here and there.
Braun.
Oh man, where's Todd going? Because I know I'm supposed to follow him.
No clue.
Braun, we're running circle.
Yeah, I was like,
Circle. You're like,
I'm gonna be a broadcaster.
I'm gonna
Michigan.
give it to Todd.
Yep. Let's also remind everyone about next week, because now we have a pretty graphic for it and a sponsor. The Foul Territory coverage of the Soul Series, powered by MLB Rivals. It's a live post-game show after Padres-Dodgers. So we'll be up at 5 a.m. We'll watch the Dodgers and Padres go at it. And then after those games, we will be live with a post-game show, a separate bonus show from FT on Wednesday and Thursday of next week. Can't wait. And it's all powered by MLB Rivals. Love that.
Todd is probably going to be doing jiu-jitsu at 5 in the morning, so he can't make it.
The games are on at 5 a.m.
What is it, 6?
6.
Oh, nice.
I'm saying, like, by the time, I get to Brzezinski's, I got to get my breakfast, my whole thing,
You
my
don't eat
protein shake and all that.
Oh, this
And I'll
guy's
sit
going to
there. I
have
don't.
egg whites with
I'm going straight
regular
I'm
eggs.
going straight from the club to
Erps.
AJ's
Nice.
He said the
to watch the
club.
game on a Tuesday. I don't know. No, I'm not doing that.
Leclerc.
I'm kidding. I'm not that wild. All right, that was fun though. Thanks again to the Twins. We're back here for Frazier Friday. I don't know if you are. Are we
Tomorrow?
Yeah.
No.
All right, get out of
Bye.
here. Kratz is
on.
back on the show tomorrow
I'm
though,
on the show.
and I'll be with Todd Father. We'll see y'all then. We had no fun today.